You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Church Street Park. We are here for another weekend of exciting minor league cricket, the 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship. And what a competition it is here in the Southern Division. I'm Amon Patel. I'll be joined by Nate Hayes in a moment's time, but we also have our fantastic production team. This is an enticing affair we have upon us here this Friday evening. We appreciate you for joining us. Minor League on a Friday, Nate, something to get used to, something to enjoy. And we'll have the Baltimore Royals taking on the Atlanta Fire.
Yes, it is. It's a privilege to be here at Church Street Park once again, helping you out on commentary. Man, I just ran across the ground.
He's feeling it. You can just see it here. Nate Hayes hasn't been moving like this in quite some time, but Nate, these teams have been moving up and down the rankings like no other, especially the teams we'll see here this weekend. We've talked about the Atlanta Lightning and the Atlanta Fire both being placed up top the division. No surprises there, 1 and 2, but it's 3 that is going to be the biggest question mark. 3 teams still in contention for that number 3 spot. Currently sitting in 4th are the Baltimore Royals, and the Fort Lauderdale Lions are seated in 3rd. The Raptors could also jump in if they were to win out with losses from each of the Royals and of the Fort Lauderdale Lions. If they were to lose out and the Royals win out, then the Royals find their way into the playoffs. The Lions, they can win themselves out, find their way in, and the Royals would need some help as well from the Lions losing to find their way in. Nate, we got a mouth-watering affair this weekend.
We do, and this is coming off the tail of last weekend where we had so many games that set this up, that set the stage for this. But this particular weekend is very, very important in the South. As you mentioned, almost every team is still in the race. This particular game right here, Baltimore is going to hope to win this, and it will really go a long way towards their playoff chances.
Yeah, for those of you, again, just joining us, I'm Amon Patel, joined by Nate Hayes here at Church Street Park with our brilliant production team. There were some chances of rain. We thought maybe we get a delay, maybe get a cancellation, but the storm suddenly said on the radar, we're just going to split right around Church Street Park. We're not coming to Church Street Park. Cricket's happening in Mooresville. It just seems to always happen that way, Nate, and we love it.
If you want a place in your neighborhood with no rain at just the right times, just replicate this ground, I swear to God.
Well, replicating this ground is going to be difficult, and replicating the 2 matches on offer are going to be difficult as well. The captain is going to try to replicate how he started, however, against the Atlanta Lightning. Jaskaran Malhotra, he's got ball in hand to start things off with the Baltimore Royals.
And we know how Jaskaran likes to bowl to right-handed batters. Around the wicket, coming across with a quicker arm balls most of the time. And this wicket tends to do him well as well.
Yeah, the Atlanta Fire, they'll be opening with a new opening pair. It'll be Lendl Simmons and Ryan Pathan, both of whom coming into this opening pair. No Kenar Lewis. Today they don't open with Rishi Pandey as well. So we get to see 2 new Fire batters in action here this week's 6 affair.
Ryan Pathan started off in the East this season, actually. Played a couple of games, I believe, with the New England Eagles, I believe, to start the season off before breaking for the GT20.
Starts off well, Malhotra asking all the right questions. This is something he likes to do. It's a fresh wicket at Church Street Park, but he's not someone who's bothered by the wicket really when he goes out there and bowls. It's going to be quick. It's going to be angled towards the stumps, and it's going to be asking the batter to play at every delivery.
A little bit tougher to get the LBW from this angle that he likes to bowl, especially the arm slot that he likes to bowl from.
But again, you can just see the intention from Malhotra. Doesn't want to give the batters real width to hit through and open up some of the gaps that are in the power play. He likes to bring himself on the power play. He feels he's a real option that can not only take wickets but restrict runs during this phase of the game.
And let's not forget the ample bowling that Baltimore has throughout the lineup, not even considering Jaskaran.
This will be the first runs to the Fire with a quick single through mid-wicket. Gets Lendl Simmons off the mark, and will bring in Ryan Pathan. You mentioned played for the New England Eagles in a couple weeks earlier in the season, but now with the Atlanta Fire, trying to make an impact up top of the order.
Yeah, New England hasn't been able to hold on to a wild card player for too long, although these Canadians this year don't really count as wild cards. They actually count as domestics. And that'll be the same going forward, I believe.
Well, how about this? Again, so good to see that and talk about the Canadian at this end. We talked about Lendl Simmons, someone who comes in with just a name of his own, T20 international debuts, ODI internationals, and then we talk about what he did with the Silicon Valley Strikers in 2021. Just looking for his first runs, Rayan. And again, the Baltimore Royals would like to win with some margin to give themselves an opportunity, even if Fort Lauderdale were to win 2. If they can win by some margin and improve that net run rate, they would just jump those Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Yeah, if Fort Lauderdale does qualify, it's going to have to be outright. Looking at the standings right now, they do not have a terribly good net run rate. Actually, I believe they're in the minus right now.
But a good start for the Baltimore Royals to close out this first over. It's 1 without loss.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Well, the new man with the ball in hand is someone who has just been so good throughout the tournament. It's Derville Green, and we saw him operate earlier this season, Nate, when he had the right-handers on a length swinging away. It was a big part in the wins for the Baltimore Royals last weekend as well. There's just so much you could say about this cricketer right here.
Oh, yeah. I love watching this guy. I've mentioned before when we commentated on Baltimore's games in the past how when he's on, I don't know how people manage him.
Pushed into the offside, but no runs on offer. And again, this is what he does well. He starts in and around a length, gets some light movement away as well, and he can just trouble batters who are trying to get their eyes in.
Yeah, absolutely. That didn't look like it troubled the batter very much in that case, but it's a heck of a ball from where we're standing.
Yeah, again, Lendl Simmons, the batter, is going to take quite a delivery to trouble him. We've mentioned the international experience, has experience at Church Street Park with the Silicon Valley Strikers in 2021, and again, but brand new to the Fire setup. Goes down the ground, but just fine. Mid-off. Little misfield. Could lead to a run. Could lead to a run. Out. Won't be. Really just all happening there. It was a little misfield at mid-off. Nearly resulted in the end of Lendl Simmons.
Yeah, you can see he was looking to score there. And the moment that the fielder mishandled that ball, it was supposed to be a run based on the attitude of the batter. The non-striker's end was wide open there, even more so than the striker's end was open,
yeah.
Wide open there, even more so than the non-striker's end, but still, a direct hit would have been a wicket.
No slip for Ryan Pathan. And we'll find a single straight away. This is good from these two. Again, I think what the Fire have been missing, Nate, is just consistency in the power play. I think they've been losing wickets well too early. Their middle order, the likes of Obis Pinar, Aaron Jones, have just seen the middle too quickly. Nasser Hussain even. And so they're looking for an opening pair that will bat out 6 overs and give them an opportunity to utilize that firepower they have in the middle.
Absolutely. You mentioned Obis Pinar, one of 2 batters in minor league cricket to reach 1,000 runs who doesn't open or bat number 3.
Yeah, what a feat it was. He also did it in about 30-odd innings as well to get to 1,000 runs, one of the top 10 fastest to do it. Mightily impressive to see that.
And we can thank our buddies at It's Called Cricket for that information.
Yeah, It's Called Cricket guys. 3 kids up in Seattle, absolutely killing the game and giving us all of these crazy stats. I mean, they throw out some crazy numbers every single week, so if you're not checking them out on a weekly basis,
give them a follow on Instagram for sure.
While you're at it, follow Minor League Cricket on all socials. This one beats Ryan Pathan, who's just looking to go big. So you make it Lendl Simmons on strike. And again, I think Lendl's seen enough. He's only seen 3 runs on the board. And you know he's not going to like this start so far from the Atlanta Fire. Haven't lost that wicket, but just haven't found the runs thereafter.
It's not uncommon for us to see a slow start here at Church Street Park. The first couple of overs, you think, my goodness, they're on pace for 45. And then the innings ends at like 150, 160.
Right.
We see that pretty often here.
No, we do, and I think it goes to show that there are ebbs and flows in this game. It's a big ground. When the field opens up, singles open up. And again, the Fire have experience on here, coming back in 2022 when they were in the finals weekend right here at Church Street Park, losing to the Seattle Thunderbolts in the championship, but they would have plenty of experience. Aaron Jones loves batting on this ground, has scored a lot of runs. Obis Pinar we'll mention also. So there are some big players who have succeeded on this particular surface, on this particular ground. But right now it's just Derval Green who's succeeding. Only gives up 2 runs in the over. 2 gone, 3 without loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, तेरे घर लाने का।
Happen.
Malhotra back into the attack. It'll be runs straight away in the over. They're going to push for 2 of them. Late go for 2, and they'll just settle for 1. And this is what the trouble can be, Nate, when you have 2 brand new bats opening. These 2 have never played in the Fire setup, let alone playing together opening. It just creates a little bit of confusion when those 2 are out in the middle.
Yes, there's something to be said for that for certain, especially in this league where, as we mentioned, there are slow starts. And, there's a lot of tricky wickets in this league altogether. This is one of the better ones for sure. Yeah. And this outfield is one of the quicker outfields, which makes it different from a lot of other outfields. So batters here who are used to other grounds in the USA or even anywhere else pretty much are going to have to get the hang of it with each other.
They're going to go for a leg by here. And you mentioned the surface. It's a new wicket today than we have seen at Church Street Park in the past. The first couple matches that were played at Church Street Park a couple weekends ago were played on the rightmost wicket. Today we have this one just, I think, from the second one from the left. So we're working with a brand new wicket. It's fresh, and so these 2 teams really get to see it out in its truest.
Yeah, there's 4 wickets on this square. Ideally, you'd want to have 5 to 7, but we've got 4.
This is a chance of a run out. Chance of a run out. Won't throw it. But again, this is the confusion that having 2 new bats opening the batting can bring. And again, just goes to beg the question, should they have done this late in the season?
Right. Yeah, that's a tricky thing. It's, you need to have those quality players on the team. So at least you're taking a chance on a player with as much experience as Lendl Simmons has. And as he opens, he'll obviously get more opportunities to work his way into the team. He's used to minor league cricket. He's played here before. He played here in the playoffs, I believe last season, with the Silicon Valley Strikers. So he has played here before. No, was it the Strikers or was it? It
was the Strikers, member of the Strikers team that went to the playoffs.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Still hasn't found real flow yet, Lendl Simmons and Ryan Pathan. And again, it just goes to beg the question. Rishi Pandey was such a staple up top of the order last season. Yes, he's not your big explosive hitter, but he's been someone who can get the runs flowing, at least from one end, and not clog up dot balls. They went to him, they found success, and then they went away from him. And it's just interesting to see those decisions. As it's in the air, Taken. First wicket. It's a wicket for Jaskaran Malhotra, and not the way Lendl Simmons would want to get his campaign started with the Atlanta Fire.
Yeah, tricky there. Tough one for Lendl. I was saying he'll have more opportunities to ease his way into this team by batting at the top, but leaving in the third over is not a good way to do that, obviously. But yes, here's the replay right here. We see Jaskaran. This is his MO right here, coming across the batter, and Lendl tries to steer that to the leg side and catches an edge.
Yeah, just a leading edge through there. He just threw the shot a touch quicker. So maybe, there was a little bit of a sprinkle earlier. Maybe there's a little bit of dampness in the wicket. So maybe there is something to be said about there just might be a little stick and grip for the spinners, which would favor the Baltimore Royals with all the spinners that they have on offer.
Yeah, we saw this from Jaskaran an awful lot when he was captaining the Morrisville Raptors here at home, especially when the wickets were a little bit sticky. He loved to bowl himself basically his entire quota in such situations, and he was very effective at doing so. The trick is for any team that has Jaskaran, you got to make sure that you have a number 2 wicketkeeper who's pretty good, because as we know, he is a very good wicketkeeper on the U.S. stage. He was a keeper in Major League Cricket, but he doesn't often like to keep.
Yeah, I think he's still dealing with that finger injury he suffered here at Church Street Park. I was speaking to J.L. Hans down in Atlanta last week and said once he's fully healed with that finger, he wants to get back to keeping. But right now, it's a Haz Malik keeping wicket to Derval Green in his second over. Starts off well. We'll get a single, and we'll get to see Zain Zayed with his first stay in the middle. And Zayed has struggled to find runs here this season. Has a century in minor league cricket, but this season I thought it was really highlighted by Faisal Shah, who talked about the technique has just changed. He seems to be collapsing the back foot, trying to access the leg side more, and it's just taken away from the stroke making that we've known to expect from Zain Zayed.
Yeah, he has a very good record in minor league cricket. He's in the top probably 10% of scorers in minor league cricket, maybe 15%. But this is one of the great things about having somebody like Faisal around who can follow a team so closely. Faisal is a very good commentator, and we have a lot of really good commentators in minor league cricket who follow these teams and can give you some knowledge.
Well, finds the run straight away, Zain Zayed, and again, it's going to be key for him to really find his way through, because the hope of changing that opening partnership you had to imagine was to save your middle order bats and save them for overs 8 to 20 and have them bat through that period of time. But you're already one down, and again, you're just not going to have the likes of, Rishi Pandey today, not in the 11 for the Atlanta Fire. So they've gone away from the young man there. They've opted instead of Viraj Vaghela. I'm interested to see when he comes into the team, but some interesting decisions as this one's being the outside edge. And I think the reason Rishi Pandey, I don't know if he's traveled with the team, part of the USA under-17 zonals that are happening back in Atlanta right now, so I think he's probably there with the side for the USA.
Great point. And you mentioned Vaghela, Viraj Vaghela. I saw him before the game warming up. I believe that young man has grown like another inch or two since the last time I've seen him. He's humongous right now.
Yeah, he's growing. Viraj Vaghela seems to always add a couple inches to the height, but right now Derval Green is just adding some pressure for these Fire batters. They're finding singles, but it doesn't seem like anyone's in real rhythm yet. And again, no Rishi Pandey today, so that means there's a lot more pressure on the top order because you don't have the young man to kind of steer the ship, even at just 16 years of age, so experienced in minor league cricket.
Yes, it is a loss. I mean, you need to play two players under the age of 21, and as you mentioned, Pandey has an awful lot of experience here at Church Street Park as well. Zain does too, and we've seen some great shots from Zain here, some very memorable shots here.
Finding a single straight away, but you mentioned the memorable shots. I think for Zayed, keep yourself in the game. Those memorable shots will come. He has all the shots in the book. He's just struggled to find those shots as of late. So for him, I think it's going to be about sticking in, spending some time, and getting himself going.
Yeah, absolutely. And Baltimore's got to be happy with, batting second on a day like today. Especially as you mentioned, it's on a new strip that they haven't seen before.
And then you also get the lights to come in play, so maybe some dew on the wicket, ball skids on. We know how good Malhotra is under the lights at Church Street Park. But how good has Derville Green been at Church Street Park? Keeping things quiet so far. 4 overs gone, 11 for 1. Malhotra back, third over. And this one won't beat backward square. Again, just trying to really force something now with the Atlanta Fire. They've been kept quiet, especially this batting partnership right now in the middle.
Yeah, they're very risky with that one.
So just a quick correction. It was Ryan Pathan who lost his wicket earlier. Quick scoring change has brought Lendl Simmons back. So, again, Nate Hayes had said, sure, Lendl's not the opposite one, but the scorers must have switched it without our knowledge there. But Lendl Simmons still in the game.
We need some binoculars.
Looking to make a big shot. If he keeps shooting like this, he might find his way out of the game pretty soon, Nate Hayes.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the last 2 shots there, the last 2 attempts, pretty loose. But yeah, I'm glad they sorted that out. I thought this looked like Lendl's posture here.
Malhotra has prompted a change in the field, seeing 2 shots into the leg side. Long off comes in the circle in place of long on.
Ooh.
And how has that one not gone through?
It looked like it did. It looked like it did.
It looked like the shot. It was just a weird sequence of play there. It looked like the shot had come well through before. Found a bit of bat, but my goodness, right now, Malhotra, he's having himself quite a day with ball in hand. He's just given up 3 runs. This could be a boundary. It could be a catch. It will be a catch. Lendl Simmons, after all of the struggle and strife, he's got to go. Never looked in flow, trying to hit his way out of it, and ends up costing him the wicket at deep mid-wicket. Jaskar Malhotra gets his man.
And what a roar there from Jaskar and Malhotra. That was similar to his ball and play wickets for the John Boy Media Ball and Play League in the warehouse games. That was a familiar roar there from Jaskar and Malhotra. And here's the replay right here.
You can just see, try to pull it into the leg side, but he could only find that fielder sitting there deep mid-wicket. It came high off the bat as well. Again, just struggling with timing. We saw it consistently. A wicket there, and a second wicket for the Atlanta Fire. That opening pair in and out pretty quickly, Nate.
It didn't sound like he hit that in the right spot of the bat either, the moment that he made contact, and it was just all about looking up and seeing exactly where the fielder was, because he definitely didn't get all of that one.
Well, whether it was Lendl Simmons or Ryan Pathan who got out first, both are gone now. And that experiment up top the order hasn't worked, and the captain, Aaron Jones, is in during the power play. It's not something he'll mind. He's a very good player and can play in the power play, but when we talk about Aaron Jones, you know he would like to have come in earliest at the 8th over, really. Just power play's gone, games starting to build, and he can just kind of steady the ship.
Yes, and he can now make things a little easier for the next guys coming in if he can hang in here with Zane, and just like you said, they need to start running when they get the chances. You know, they need to start finding little gaps and running and getting the scoreboard ticking over a little bit. The 11 for 2, not a great spot, but we've seen worse things than this.
Yeah, and I think Aaron Jones has that experience, not just on Church Street Park, but on grounds across the world, playing associate cricket with the United States, both ODI, T20 vice captain for the national side, and so he's someone who understands the situation. He's a very smart cricketer. He scored a 50 against the Morsel Raptors. He got rhythm back, got form back, really, it felt like, after just a couple of really painstaking innings. But pressure now on the Fire. And we'll find runs straight away. We'll find 4 of them. Can't do that after Jaskar Malhotra. Far too straight, far too easy for anybody, especially Aaron Jones. And Nate Hayes had said, you know what, screw the comms. He's going to get the ball. Nate Hayes, he's ready to go after it. There he is, getting the ball, gets it into Derville Green. The arm's gone away there, Nate. I'm not sure that was the best of tosses. We're going to talk about that when he gets back here. But picks up 4 runs nonetheless. Does Aaron Jones and Malhotra. It's just well too easy to welcome Aaron Jones that way. Nate, the underarm toss not going your way. We'll talk about that after the ball. Again down the leg side. Again, going to be 4 runs. Not sure what the plan is to Aaron Jones. Nate Hayes, he wants redemption. Does he want it? No, we got fans this time. But Aaron Jones right now, he's making life very difficult for Justin Malhotra. 2 boundaries to open his account.
Yeah, the last one was on my line a little bit more. But yeah, the ball, I could feel it. When I went back, I could feel it sticking a little bit.
Again, you just take a look at it there. Headed down the leg side all the way. All Aaron Jones has to do is get any feather bat. Derville Green, a fine leg, was never going to stop it. You mentioned the quick outfields earlier. That one's always going to race to the boundary. So after all this pressure being brought on and those wickets falling, Justin Malhotra seemingly has given Aaron Jones and the Fire some rhythm.
Yeah, and as we know, those who have watched games here, not only do we have good, nice, short, well-trimmed, well-manicured grass here, but the square is actually crowned. The square itself isn't crowned, but it's crowned up until the square, which means the ball's rolling down a hill.
Yeah, rolling down a hill, graded very well. And so once it gets onto that hill, it feels like any bit of bat's going to send it to the boundary. Talking about someone who has made a name for himself, speaking Church Street Park, that's made this, national name. Aryan Batra has done the same as a member of the USA Under-19 team that's just qualified for the World Cup. They'll be in Sri Lanka in the wintertime in the early months of 2024. But right now at Church Street Park, Nate.
Yeah, this is great. This is one of the things we love most about this league is the opportunities that it provides for the younger players. And we are seeing a younger player right now in a very, very good opportunity.
Starts well. Starts very, very well. Big appeal late. Big appeal late. The appeal very late. Batra never seemed really interested. Bhargat Singh came roaring in from covers, but nonetheless, a very good start in to Zain Zayed.
Yeah, that was, I would call it half-hearted, but the way to say it is just late. That was just such a late appeal. It looked like from here there was some gap between the bat and the ball from our vantage point. Obviously, tough to tell. We couldn't even tell which one was Lendl Simmons a minute ago. So
didn't give us any team sheets. Not even sure what the numbers that we're supposed to be looking at are either. So it's been tough skimmings. Again, just grateful to have a game, really, at this point.
Yeah, after that rain.
In the air, will be 4 runs through covers. A welcome shot for Zain Zayed, just too full, too wide, and Zain Zayed wasn't going to miss out on that.
Yeah, that was definitely in his wheelhouse. I think he was going to try to reproduce that last ball. But yeah, that one got a little bit away, gave him some distance so that he could get his hands free and just let the bat do the work there.
Yeah, it's pretty different from the usual Aryan Batra length. Usually pulls it back closer to stumps, but here he's elected to go full. Goes full again, tries to york him. There was 2 sounds. I'm sure bat was involved as it scurried away through covers, but a good start here for the youngster.
How about this angle from Batria too? The angle of his arm here. We know the great Bart King, basically the inventor of in-swing bowling. He called it, I think he called it the swerver or something like that. I can't remember. But yes, the angler is what he called it. The angler. Yeah, he came in from over the top of his head and angled it back into the bowler's feet, just like that right there. That was a beautiful ball.
Well, from one USA great to what the Baltimore Royals and the rest of the USA camp will hope is the next USA great. Aryan Batra right now has got the angle working for him. We saw him be really effective down at the Buttonveers Cricket Complex down in Georgia. He, on his first delivery of the weekend, took a wicket. First delivery on the 5th surface on that weekend. The pitch 5, he took a wicket there. So he's looked good in his return to minor league cricket. And starts off well to the captain, Aaron Jones. And for Aaron Jones, again, I think the key here is simple. He's just going to look to take his time, not going to rush things really. Feels that if you can get up to 160 towards the back end with the bigger hitters like Obis, Pinar, Jamar Hamilton to come, he's done his job.
Yeah, I think with this arm angle, the one thing that it allows the batter to do easily is to sort out when to leave the ball, because the ball's coming already from over to that side. It's not going across and swinging. It's coming already from a leave length, and it just stays on the length. It was a pretty easy call to leave that ball.
Short cover being brought in. It's Bhargat Singh there. There's a deep cover as well. As third man comes inside the ring. Just that one fielder in the deep for the Baltimore Royals. Excuse me, there's a deep backward square in for Butler as well.
That's a
close to stumps. That's a great delivery. It left him late. It leaves him late. Batra, he's getting some movement on this surface today.
Yeah, that was a heck of a ball. Like I said, if he with this delivery, if he stays a little bit too wide, it's too easy to see it. And that one right there really challenged Aaron Jones.
And when you can say you're challenging the USA Vice Captain, you know you've done yourself a real good job. Again, it's the angle in, as you mentioned, but then the movement away late. It just keeps the batter to play inside the line of the ball pretty consistently. This one cut will find runs, could find 4 of them. Fielder's putting in the chase. He's done well at deep covers, cuts it to just 2 runs there. Good way to close out the 6th over. Power plays come and gone, and the Baltimore Royals have absolutely won it. Score reads 28-2.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
(26-2) after the power play, and it's going to be led to Sahib Malhotra getting the ball in hand. Start things off. Spin from this end again. Starts off well. Nate, this is not the first time we've seen Sahib Malhotra in minor league cricket.
No, last season he played for the Dallas Mustangs. This is Jaskar Malhotra's brother. And he's definitely a very solid all-rounder. Lots of experience.
Runs on offer here. You mentioned a solid all-rounder. His exploits with a bat were what made him really famous back with the Dallas Mustangs. Remember on opening weekend last year, scored 90, I believe, a quick fire 90 in the game-winning chase for the Dallas Mustangs. So he's someone who comes in with that ability and that reputation of being a big hitter, a match winner.
Yes, by far that's his best innings. He hasn't crossed 30 since in 13 others, but we know what he's capable of.
And he's offering good flight on this wicket so far. You can see he's turning it away from the right-hander. Good running here. Going to get 2 runs for it. The Atlantic Fire. And this is, you mentioned, they got to run for everything. This is what Aaron Jones can do when he's in the middle.
Oh, no doubt. He's going to run. If you're his partner, you got to be ready to go. You got to be thinking run first most of the time. It's got to be a clear no. He's going to try to push it. The one thing I would criticize him for is sometimes he does get his partners run out.
He's starting off really well here, Shahib Malhotra, on a length. And again, he's going to have to make up for the bowling loss of Shami Gotra, not in the 11 today, as Sahib comes in. So really important that he puts his hand up when he does get the ball in hand today. And it seems like he's going to get an opportunity to bowl here, and he's earning a second over. Again, fly to this time. Push through covers. just find one, Aaron Jones. Again, you're just wondering when is there going to be a release shot coming. But right now it's been all about the Baltimore Royals, Nate.
Yeah, and Aaron's under really no pressure himself to score, actually, as he's gotten a couple of gifts, as you mentioned.
Sweeps well. We'll find one to close out the 7th over. 7 overs gone. 31 for 2. Arian Butler, good first over, comes back in for a second. We'll start out to Zayn Zayed. And Zayed goes down the ground, long on, gives chase, cuts it, keeps it to 2. Butler has been fuller than probably what you'd expect and what you've grown accustomed to seeing from the young man. Usually operates much like a Subramanian with the length pulled back, mixing things up, but I think he's seeing a surface where he can get some movement, and he saw the movement in the first over, and he's backing himself to bowl fuller in length and move the ball from there. Get the batters driving. He's got a long on and a long off with the deep covers in place, deep mid-wicket and deep backward square. So begging the question to be on stumps. Is on stumps again, and again that time pull the length back, and I think that's a very good length to operate in. There just batters have to drive on the up. And again, the Baltimore Royals playing with everything to lose right now. A loss here could really keep them out of the playoffs, and if they want any chance to go outright, it's going to be about wins. Fuller, wider, but only hit to short cover. Misfield, and Aaron Jones wanted the single. Zayed not interested in it at all. We heard Nate Hayes earlier talk about how, there's been time and time again where Aaron Jones can sometimes get his partners run out. Zayed not budging, rightfully so, as the lights start to come in Church Street Park. This time hits it firmly to long off. But again, since you've seen Aaron Jones into the middle, you've seen the singles come more consistently. You've seen runs start to come on the board, and again, not many big boundaries yet, but at least the singles have been had almost every delivery.
Yeah, not terribly different from a Nicholas Curtin from Canada, who's kind of filled this kind of role, like rotate strike for. He's done this role for Michigan this year.
Bit of width, but we'll find a single. Could find a couple more runs. Now does well along the boundary. Keeps it to just 2.
And where I'd say he differs is once he gets his eye in, Aaron can go from a 100 strike rate to a 150 strike rate in about 12 balls.
Well, we've seen that here at Church Street Park. Actually, 2022, I think I saw the fastest I've ever seen Aaron Jones play in terms of getting himself in and starting to hit. You saw him hit really from ball maybe 5 since opening things up, and he was so good in that series as this time he gets it in front of that cover fielder. He'll find 4 runs. That cover fielder just pushed a touch squarer this time. Gets it straighter, finds 4 runs.
Yeah, we're seeing here how effective Bhatria is when he stays at the legs or when he stays at that off stump. And then when he goes away from it, he's been walloped a few times.
Yeah, you found the 4 there that time. Again, that fielder, he just played a little bit of a square drive, and it comes from that experience of these players who've played in a lot of international situations and high pressure situations. They just understand how the angles of the field works, and Aaron Jones coming with that experience at Church Street Park, playing one square, seeing the fielder move there, and this time could hit a little bit straighter and knew he was going to find a boundary.
Yes, just looking for the right ball and doing the right thing with it.
The 8th over comes and goes. It's 40 for the loss of 2. It's been a good comeback for the Atlanta Fire. And again, this is going to be the key. Can they keep Obis Pinar in the dugout till about the 12th over? Jamar Hamilton till about the 15th, 16th over. Can they keep their big hitters? You still have Nasser Hussein after that, Cornet Dry. You have guys who can come in and hit. Mila Ponzo has really grown into that role, but you just have to keep them in the dugout until that role requires them.
Yeah, both of these teams very good with the ball, historically speaking, and they both have loads of good bowlers with them. It's going to come down to, obviously what it always comes down to, who scores the most runs.
Well, right now, it's been tough to score runs on Sahib Malhotra, just 5 of them in his first over. He'll come back for over number 2. Undoes him completely. Zain Zayed goes. It was just really awkward. Never really looked in position. You could see him use his feet early, but it just never looked in flow. Beats him all the way through. Malhotra picks up wicket number 1.
Yeah, that one had him beat the whole way. We're about to see the replay of that as it. Here we go.
Yeah, big turn on offer there.
I think he went to the wrong foot there. I think you should have gone back on that one. It's, with the leggies, it's so tempting sometimes to be defensive on the front foot, to be overly defensive on the front foot. But if you are, you can get beat pretty badly that way.
Well, I think it's a good setup from Sahib Malhotra. We saw Zayed in the previous over look to really reach forward, get down, and really play that test match kind of shot. But we saw Sahib here flight it up, but just pull the length back. So drew Zayed forward, and he also looked to come down the track as well. Spotted that too, pulled the length, and once he did that, easy for Ahad Malik behind the stumps.
Zain was clearly in 2 minds on that one. Rough stuff there. But a very good setup, as you mentioned.
Yeah, good work from the Baltimore Royals. You mentioned the bowling being their biggest thing, and it's doing them wonders so far. It'll bring into the middle Obis Pinar, the man we mentioned. You probably want to have him come in 10 to the 12 over mark, but he's someone who's accustomed to playing at Church Street Park. Remember last season, a member of the Morsel Raptors, have played all his home games here, and so he'd be happy to be back in this beautiful facility.
Yeah, he's pretty much, of the 10 batters in minor league cricket who have scored 1,000 runs, Obis bats in the lowest spot most often. He doesn't bat 1, 2, or 3. Ideally, he has in the past occasionally, but he's a 4 or 5. You want him coming in more in a certain period of time than you do necessarily at a certain number.
Yeah, absolutely. This is someone who plays spin well. Is someone who, when the field opens up, can push it into gaps, comes in with a lot of power. Fastest 100 in minor league cricket last season as a member of the Raptors down in Florida. But now it's these two in the middle who've been asked to do so much, Jones and Pinar. And we'll find his first run straight away. Again, this partnership is going to be key to the Fire if they want to set a total. Because remember, we've talked about it time and time again. It gets easier to chase as the lights come on in Church Street Park.
Yes, and this is their best 2 minor league performers, or the best batters that have performed in minor league. We know Obis has played for now 3 teams. And Aaron Jones is very loyal to that Atlanta side.
He's done well so far as a member of it. Wasn't the captain in 2021, and it was a big part because the USA players just weren't around as much in 2021. Then in 2022, given the role of the captaincy from Cornet Dry, and now back in 2023 as a member of the team. Find the outer half of the bat. Malhotra's been bowling well, but that missed field will lead to a single. The Royals' bowling has been good. They've let themselves down, though, in spots. That was an opportunity to really put some more pressure on the board.
Yeah, you can't be perfect with every single ball. But, yeah, it's... And I hope that it didn't sound like I was throwing shade at Obis back then when I said Aaron was loyal to the Fire. Ooh, well defended there. Well defended. Right under his eyes.
I'm not sure Obis Pinar would really care if you were throwing shade at him either, Nate Hayes. I think he's someone who is so good in the mind, is always in a good headspace when he's out there to bat. And he's just there to do his thing. And right now his thing is to save the Fire innings. Nearly run out there, but it closes out the 9th over. 42 for 3.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Well, they've gone to the wicket taker. The Baltimore Royals usually comes in this phase after that 9 over mark, but they sensed the moment. Does Jaskar Malhotra station that slip? It's Sarbjit Ludda, the major league man, the champion, member of MI New York. Got into some major league matches before return of Rashid Khan. He's taken some big wickets, has a double hat trick here at Church Street Park, and a fifer. And he'll beat Aaron Jones straight away. What a start for Sarbjit Ludda.
Speaking of that fifer, we were both here on comps for that. That was the last time we saw him bowl. I believe it was the last time we saw him bowl at Church Street in person. What a wild innings he had there.
You turned the game around. The Galaxy looked like they could fight back, but Sarbjit Ludda said, nope, you have to wait for a win another day. Beats him again. Prompted the sweep. We've seen Aaron Jones play the slog sweep quite well. He's a big proponent of that shot, and this is what Ludda can do. Flight it up, draw you in, gets good dip and turn off the surface. And starting off really nicely the leggy.
And with that fifer, we almost saw 5 consecutive wickets from this Baltimore team had it not been for a wide after the first wicket.
Pulled the length back and still beats Aaron Jones. This is what we've seen from Sarbjit Ludda. Why those 5 wickets happened nearly consecutively is because he builds pressure like this and forces you to take the bowlers on after his overs.
Yes, he does, or he just gets you out. One of them.
Don't usually see him get hit. Can Aaron Jones find it today? Again, has not gone bad on ball yet in the over. It's been all swings and misses. Even if he's trying to defend, you can see the amount of turn Ludda's extracting on the surface.
That is an awful lot of turn. And he's a smart enough bowler that you can't anticipate that too much.
And the reason you can't play for that big turn is because he has that googly that can just sneak it back through. Wouldn't be surprised to see one come back. Switch hit comes out, beats nobody. It beat really Aaron Jones. Malhotra does really well at first slip, putting out the dive, keeping it down to no runs. Still no runs on offer. Good over here on the verge of a maiden is Sarbjit Ludda. Yeah, he is. Is it a wicket maiden? Says no. The umpire says no. Ludda off to the races. Ahad Malik off to the races. We see Pargat Singh asking for the review. I think Aaron Jones hasn't quite gone onto it. It looked from the naked eye like there was a gap between bat and ball. But how about this from the leg spinner?
Yes, once again, a lot of coming out dangerous as ever. We see this all the time from him.
And he'll close out the 10th over, 42 for 3. Malhotra, third over in a row. Obispinar, how often do we see this when he's playing spin? He tends to do that little hop out and elevate over the offside.
He does like to play that shot. Kind of chopped that one at the end there. But he definitely does like to give himself the room.
Pushed into the offside, no run on offer. Bowling in tandems is so important in any cricket match. And right now, we're coming off the heels of a maiden. This is now 8 consecutive dot balls for the Atlanta Fire. Something's got to give. Up in the air, it'll be 1 out to long off. Could push for 2, but won't be.
Throwing from his backside there as the fielder fell over, and Aaron Jones was ready to go for that 2.
Aaron.
But yeah, you mentioned Obis, giving himself space. He's a very tall batter. So he's going to want to make some space for his arms to get the most out of his power.
It almost feels like when he gives himself space, it's now the normal, arm length to the offside as maybe an Aaron Jones, someone who's maybe a touch shorter than Obispinar, who probably stands at about 6'4", 6'5", maybe.
Yeah, he's a tall one, that's for sure. It's interesting with cricket how your physique kind of dictates the kind of a player you are.
Still not off the middle, but it'll be 1. They're finding ways to get some semblance of runs, but not in the consistent manner in which they would like the Atlanta Fire.
We've seen Obis grind a lot. We've seen him get through some tough overs and then explode in the last 2 or 3. We saw it a lot with the Raptors last year.
Yeah, think about some big chases against the Somerset Cavaliers. This one to the offside, but no run on off for the Royals right now, all over the Atlanta Fire. 11 overs gone, 44 for 3.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Slip still in play for Sarbjeet Ludda, who is just coming off of a maiden over. Just casual Sarbjeet Ludda things there, Nate. Reverse sweeps again. This time gets bat on it and will find a boundary over the top of third man. He tried it in the previous over. This time fetches 4.
Previous over, he tried it when the googly was coming. I didn't get a chance to see from this vantage point what he was putting out there. It doesn't look like it was the googly that time.
Yeah, the normal leg spinner this time, bat on it. And you just felt something had to give here because you just saw some tight overs. You had the maiden, then you had the Sahib Malhotra over. They didn't go for many runs, haven't found a boundary in quite some time. They knew they needed it. And Aaron Jones, the captain, puts his hand up. How does Ludda now respond? Gets into that shot early. Could fetch another boundary. Yeah, fetch 4 more. You can see Aaron Jones almost premeditated, hey, my only chance of playing Sarbjeet Ludda is to play this shot, and he's finding runs now.
Yes, he is. It is a brave thing to do when you're down 3 wickets already, and Ludda has so many balls left in his quota for the day. It is brave to take him on with premeditated shots like this, but the scoreboard's dictating that they need to hurry it up a little bit.
Yeah, they do need to hurry it up, and you could see the line from Sarbjeet Ludda. It's not like he didn't know that the ball was going to be, that Aaron Jones was going to play that shot. What he elected to do was push it outside the leg stump or what had become the off stump. But even from there, Aaron Jones very willing to take it from that side of the wicket.
And still get it behind the fielder. So he had to time that very well in order to do that. It's a very skillful shot there from Aaron. As you mentioned, might have been premeditated, but it was still with an abundance of skill.
Wouldn't be surprised to see the googly now from Ludda after consecutive boundaries. It's in the air. Cries of catch it. Derval Green settling. And Aaron Jones goes. Aaron Jones goes after back-to-back boundaries. It's Derval Green who takes the catch, and Ludda gets the last laugh.
There you go. Yeah, that one just turned just a little bit enough away from his edge there that he couldn't get all of it. And Jones is punished for not going through that line.
Yeah, I think what he was expecting the googly. Just like I was expecting the ball to come back into him after seeing him play the reverse sweep. He thought Ludda was going to try to bring the ball away from the left-hander per se and just try to hit into the cow corner region. Instead, Ludda stick to his guns. He goes with the leg spinner, and all that experience pays off in the form of a wicket.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think most of us were expecting the googly there after the consecutive reverse switch hits. But yeah, we're he did anticipate that, and he did sky it to long off for the wicket there for the easy catch.
Yeah, and you saw Ludda have that conversation with his captain Jessica Malhotra previous to that wicket, and it just felt like that plan was set up. He was, almost daring. He sent back cow corner into that region, told him to stay out in the deep, and I think it just told Aaron Jones another sense of, okay, the ball's coming back into me. I'm going to slog sweep this one. And that one's, again, just that little bit of turn. We've seen a lot of turn on this wicket, Nate, and I'm just curious to see how it continues to play throughout the day, if that's something that stifles runs going forward.
Right, and the spot where that ball was bowled to, if you're not anticipating a googly there, if you're just reading it and reacting to it, I think you can get a couple of runs off of that ball pretty easily.
Yeah, it wasn't like that delivery was pulled back anymore. It was pulled back from the reverse sweep shot, but from that length, you can easily just push the ball down the ground. Aaron Jones, wanting runs, wanting boundaries, just fails to do so. Brings in the new bat. And Ludda starts off well with a couple of slips in play, as we see Nasser Hussain join Obis Pinar in the middle.
Nasser Hussain has been a very important player, a very important cricketer for this team over the last couple of seasons. It's been great to see a player his stature here in minor league cricket so consistently.
Yeah, so consistently. You mentioned him making his debut in minor league cricket in 2022, the Bangladeshi national, and has just found a liking to the Atlanta Fire and to minor league cricket. He's been amongst the runs, but most importantly amongst the wickets for the Atlanta Fire, the off spinner. And in this situation, he could also be very useful out in the middle. Someone who would have grown up playing spin quite a bit out in the subcontinent. And so now an opportunity on a wicket that seems to have a lot of turn, can just use all of his experience. But right now we'll watch Obis Pinar play the final delivery of the 12th over. He wants the reverse. Unable to get it, though sneak away a single. Seems to be the tactic against Sarabjit Ludda. Go with the reverse sweep. 12 overs gone, 54 for 4.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Well, Nate, Sahib Malhotra in his first game of the Baltimore Royals is going to get 4 on the trot, starting off to the right-handed Pinar. Finds 1 down the ground. I think what's been really impressive with Malhotra is just how he uses his height to his advantage as a spinner. Gives loop, but just similar to Obis Pinar, because he's tall and the ball comes from such a high angle, it's almost deceiving the way it's slowed down.
Right, and he does have some pretty good sized hands as well, so you can see him get his hand around the ball and generate a good amount of revs.
So it's a very different challenge from Sarabjit Ludda. Often skies it up quicker through the air. We'll find 1 out into the offside. But as you mentioned, does get those revs, and we saw that undo Zayn Zayed earlier, who stepped down, tried to defend it away. Really poor in the shot selection, but was just undone based off the skill of Malhotra.
That's right. When you get those revs, the ball dips more, and that's what got Zayn there, was the length of the delivery.
Into the leg side. Could find a couple of runs. Malhotra's out to get it. So is deep mid-wicket. And Obis Pinar sends back Nasser Hussain, who's often so willing to run. And again, if you feel like that's going to be the key on a surface that's not giving a lot to the batters right now, it's not a surface like we saw last week in Atlanta where balls were staying up and down. Balls seem to be coming onto the bat. It's just the skill right now of the bowlers, the amount of turn on offer is just troubling the Fire batters.
Indeed, it really is.
So push into the offside for one. Nate, we're past the halfway stage of the game. You know, the Fire projected score at 90. What do you think they have to get to stay within a reachable, defendable target?
Well, I think they've got the bowling here to defend, like a score of like 125 or so. It really depends on the top order here of the Baltimore Royals, who have struggled at the top recently.
This one gets through, backward point. It's going to be 4 runs for Nasser Hussain. Just a touch bit of width on offer. Beats Sahil Kapoor, backward point. We'll find 4 runs for Nasser Hussain.
And that's the way you want to get to that 125. Of course, if you want to get anything over that, for certain. But I do think that yes, even though the dew comes in, we've seen small totals defended here, even considering the dew. You still have to play responsible cricket. The innings here, the batting innings here, seem to be longer than a T20.
Pushed into the offside. We'll find a single. And again, they're going to need a lot more of that. Boundaries and runs. 13 overs gone. It's 62 for 4. Three in a row for Subjit Ludda, and why not? He's only given up 10 runs. He's taken the wicket, and he's got a maiden to his name. Starts off to the off spinner, Hussain. Goes down the leg side. The googly just turning a bit too much, but these are signs that both teams will like. If you're Subjit Ludda, oh, ball's turning. If you're the Atlanta Fire, you'll say, well, I have Obis Pinar, Nasser Hussain, Aaron Jones, and Emilio Alfonso. They can use the surface as well.
Not only that, but we know Cornet dry bowls quite well here.
With put away for 1. They could come back for 2. They'll just settle, but you mentioned Cornet dry. One of the more memorable moments at Church Street Park would be when he got that wicket of Sanjay Stanley against the Marshall franchise in year 1. First time he ever came down here, and it was just real explosive to see him up close in person for the first time.
I'm sure Sanjay will be ready for us to stop talking about that ball. But it was quite a ball. It was an awesome ball.
Finds 1 into the leg side. Obis Pinar. This is good. Mature from Obis. He's had to do this a couple times in seasons past with both St. Louis and the Marshall Raptors. Play a consolidating role. If he can stick in, if these two can stick in until the last 5, get singles, get 5 to 7 and over from here, until then, and then Jamar Hamilton can come in and swing long, and Obis Pinar can come in and swing long. Cornet Dry can do the same. You're just thinking you can claw your way to 130, and if you can do that, you give yourself a chance. Now, I think you're going to need upwards of 150 to really put yourself in a favorable position on this ground, under lights with the dew on offer. but they do have the bowling that can give them an opportunity. I think you have to get to 130 though to give yourself any semblance of a chance.
Yes, and as I mentioned, the only reason that I feel they could defend 125 is because of the struggles with the Baltimore's batting and because of how relentless the bowling from Atlanta is.
And also, to be fair, there's not much pressure on the Atlanta Fire to win this game. If they don't win, you could talk about maybe falling to third, but second and third are going to end up playing each other anyway. You don't lose a lot when you fall to third place. But for the Baltimore Royals, they could find themselves out of the playoffs with a loss. So maybe you can also say pressure and the fact that, oh, I need to win this game versus, oh, if I lose, I lose, but I can play freely. That can also play an impact, especially chasing a total. But the bowlers have been good. Not sure what the appeal was for there from Malhotra per slip.
Yeah, tomorrow we have the Fire playing against the Royals once again. So this is, I talked to Jay Hans on the Minor League Cricket Show this week. I had him on as a guest. That's on the Major League Cricket Network on YouTube, and he was talking about how he thinks the Royals can win these two games.
Well, they've gotten off to the start. Has Ludda gone this one? Says no. Can't believe it, Sarbjeet Ludda. He truly cannot believe he's not been given out.
And we saw that one coming from behind. If anybody wants to know how to pick Lada, send us $50. We'll tell you exactly how to do it.
Nate Hayes is upcharging here. Let's take a look at this delivery, though. How close was this? Again, you saw it there. The googly comes out. I think going down the leg side. He's standing on leg stump, and I think that was the reason that Alvin Barnett has elected not to give that one out. Either way, it'll close the 14th over, 69 for 4. Planes ahead, Malhotra, ball in hand. And something you can see a lot at Church Street Park are the planes coming through, and the Atlanta Fire are going to hope that they can do the opposite of what this plane is doing. This plane is departing and landing. They're looking to take off here in this inning so far.
It's arriving and landing.
Run down through third man. Beats Sarbjeet Ludda there. Chase on. Chase goes in vain. 4 runs. Finding runs is Nasir Hussain. He's taken Malhotra. This time Jaskran for 4 runs.
There we go. Lada on the move there. Hustling with the headband on. Karate kick. Oop, can't get it.
It went feet first.
That looks like that's some Karate Kid stuff right there.
I mean, Sarbjeet Ludda is a very stylish guy. We've seen him time and time again. Headband, no headband.
I was worried he wouldn't stop on that slide.
Always want to slide at Church Street Park. Like you mentioned, the manicured grass. Then when the dew comes on, no better feeling. Remember back in the teenage years, us doing that in youth cricket. Malhotra this time close to the stumps. And again, this is where Malhotra's got to be. If he's going to bowl this quick, don't give it width. Don't give anything down the leg side because it's 4 runs either side of the fine leg or third man.
It's one thing you and I have in common now. We both get to say back in the teenage years.
It's been long enough there. Just 1 year removed here for me, Nate.
Yeah, me too.
I'd buy it. And right now, the Baltimore Royals are going to buy what Jaskran Malhotra is selling, because he's able to keep runs down to a minimum. Yes, those couple of boundaries when he's straight in line, but apart from that, has looked very, very good. Good here from Hussain. Finds 1 out deep mid-wicket.
Beautiful night it's turned out to be. We got a nice cool breeze coming through. which is not something we've said very many times this summer.
Yeah, it was incredibly warm earlier today, but the sun's starting to go down, breeze starting to go through. Feels like we're headed towards fall. We expected a cooler day in terms of the radar. That maybe little shower that didn't come by has cooled things off. And right now the Royals, led by Jessica Malhotra, have cooled off the Atlanta Fire. 15 overs gone, 76 for 4.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
Fourth over coming for Sarbjeet Ladda. And, we've seen this quite often throughout the season. They start him around that 9th, 10th over mark and give him 1 over in the last 5. It's an opportunity for him to really take wickets because of the fact that it is the last 5. These batters are going to look to accelerate, but it also becomes tough because you have this leg spinner who's operating on this surface that's on the slower side with a lot of turn. Could really be effective. Pushed straight to cover. Obis Pinar, he's been in the middle for some time. Both of these players have played 14 deliveries, but Pinar well under the 100 strike rate he'd like to be operating in.
Timed that one super well, of course, right into the fielder, but the sound off the bat there was really something you want to hear at this phase.
Making room in the air, away from the man inside the ring. Derval Green does well, though, along the boundary. Some fancy footwork out there. Lead to a couple of runs. Tried for that third for a moment, Pinar, but sent back.
Derval with the uncle stop, one of my favorite ways to stop the ball.
he did really well. He had to make a lot of room over to his left, and Derval Green, you talk about an all-rounder in the truest sense, affects the game both with the ball and the bat. But in the field, a big catch of Aaron Jones, and then that stop, saving 2 runs. And again, if you're the Baltimore Royals, every run saved is a run you don't have to chase down, especially when you have that pressure of trying to make the playoffs. Shorter. Pulled into the leg side. Haven't seen a lot of balls go out there, and fiery throw from the youngster in the deep.
Yeah, that was a good throw. There must have been some scouting on that. I think I might have tried for 2 on that one, unless I knew there was a good arm out there. Fielder running to his left side. He pivoted and threw that ball quite well.
We've talked about the struggles for Obis Pinar. He's timing the ball well, but hasn't found gaps in the consistent manner. Nasser Hussain is 14 from 14. So he's batting at 100 strike rate. Can he now accelerate? Looks to. In the leg side. Fielder in place, but not going to get there. It'll be 4 runs, 1 bounce over the rope. And this is what the Fire need. And we've talked about Hussain's ability to play spin. This is what he can do on this surface.
Yeah, that was a really good shot. That's something we've been waiting for from Atlanta here. And we've seen Ladda go maybe a hair even more expensive compared to the rest of the bowlers today than you would imagine, but still putting pressure on every ball he's in there. He's dangerous.
I think that delivery there is just about the line, straying down the leg side, and it just really gave an ability for Nasser Hussain, who's so good against spin, to clear his leg and hit through the line of the ball, not have to worry really about the turn coming back. Also a touch fuller than what we saw against Aaron Jones. So hasn't been at his sharpest, Sarbjeet Ladda, but it still tells you how good he's been. Better. You saw, pull the length back, line better. They'll get the single, and they'll get 2. Backup not in place. And this is good awareness from the 2 men in the middle. It tells you how experienced they are.
Yes, you had to be ready. If you were running to the striker's end, you had to be ready to come back if there was an overthrow, and he was. Good job there from Obis.
And again, this is how Obis Pinar can affect the game. Even if he's not in full flow with the bat, his just ability in the middle, just to be situationally aware. This one pummeled through the offside, but straight to that cover fielder on the ring. It'll close out a good over for the Atlanta Fire, in respectively 16 overs gone, 85 for 4.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Plains here at Cherry Park. It's a Friday evening, so everyone coming to Morrisville for the Brew Cricket Festival coming here tomorrow. I know I will be here, Nate Hayes will be here, the whole production team will be here. We'll have plenty of cricket. Everyone come show out. Doors open at 1.
Yes, sir. Doors open at 1 o'clock. I believe the first game's at 2. And I will be guzzling some brew coffee for certain.
Trying to get him awake. Nate Hayes always seems to be awake, so got to get him as much caffeine as we can. Right now, the Atlanta Fire seem to need some caffeine if they want to cross those triple digits.
Atlanta's going to have to fly over this boundary as often as these planes are right now.
And we'll see Aryan Batra come back into the attack. We haven't seen a lot of pace, just a couple overs from Derville Green, the 2 from Batra, and now he's back in here. Justin Malhotra sensing the last 4 overs will be split, you'd have to imagine, between Derville Green and the young under-19.
Yeah, I would imagine that's the case. I bet we'll see Derville out here next over.
Pushed into the leg side. Again, they're finding singles, but at some point, you got to start hitting. You've done the job. Get yourself to the last 5. And now's the opportunity where Nasir Hussain, Obis Pinar can be really aggressive. And then you can open things up for Jamar Hamilton, who's still in the dugout. Cornet Dry, Emilio Alponzo. Plenty of hitters. You have to imagine at some point someone's got to take a risk.
Yes, and you also have to imagine that they've told Aryan Batra right here, hey, keep it right at the stumps, line and length. Keep it right at the stumps. Nice and tight, just like that, just like that. He'll stay out of trouble if he keeps bowling like that. But if he gives it any width right now, it's gonna be runs.
Another thing to look at is the length that he's bowling was much fuller in his first spell. If you remember, this over, he's pulled the length back and has not allowed the Fire batters to go through the line, swing their arms on the front foot. You saw Pinar try to advance, but even with the tall frame, Batra up to the task. Little touch, he's going to be gone. He's going to be gone there, Nasir Hussain. It was the fingers over the ball, and that's what's caused it to stop up, and simplest of takes for Ahad Malik.
Yeah, you could see Hussain there having to wait on this. You'll see it right there. He had to wait a little bit on that shot. He was going to play the right shot. It was going to be a great shot, but it dug in a little bit, slowed down, and it just didn't have anything on it by the time it got to him.
Yeah, it was just this surface. Again, the touch on the slower side, and then Batra's ability to roll the fingers, similar to what we see from Atindus Rumanian, who we'll see later today. That's just caused a little bit more stop in the wicket, a little bit more hold. And again, the Baltimore Royals, they take a wicket. This could be a blessing in disguise if you're the Atlanta Fire, with Jamar Hamilton probably being the next man into the middle, but still something to think about. Wickets falling now.
Yeah, you want Jamar Hamilton in this situation. I don't think Baltimore. I don't think Baltimore right now is going to be too happy to see him coming in there, but also you got to be happy that Batra's going according to the script right now. It's one thing to have a plan, it's another thing to execute it, and he's been bowling fantastic this over.
I feel like the Baltimore Royals all season long have been doing that really well, Nate. I think they've executed in their bowling quite nicely. You haven't seen teams really tee off against them, even when they're defending a low total. Think about what they did against the Morrisville Raptors. Still dug it out to pretty much the end of the game, took wickets late, changed things up. Malhotra has his troops doing what he wants them to do. This team is built on doing the little things right. There's no one on this team that blows you away with express pace. You have maybe Derval Green and Sarbjeet Ludda as your big spinner, your big pacer. And beyond that, it's a team real bowling effort.
Yes, it is. It's both of these teams have such good bowling last season and this season as well. But last season, this Baltimore team was the best bowling team in the East. Obviously, now they've moved to the South and changed cities.
Well, speaking of changing things up, not Jamar Hamilton. Emilio Ponzo promoted up the order as he makes his way onto the middle, number 32, to join side with Obis Pinar. Interesting call there from the Atlanta Fire, with no Jamar Hamilton available in today's match, actually not in the playing 11. So have a new man keeping wicket for them, but big loss, big miss. They'll have to rely on Emilio Ponzo and Obis Pinar. And that'll close out the over at the end of 17. It's 90 for 5. Derval Green back into the attack, working to Obis Pinar. Try to squeeze it through backward point. We'll just find a single. And we mentioned no Jamar Hamilton, so we'll have a new man keeping wicket for the Atlanta Fire. But Emilio Ponzo has shown an ability to hit the long ball.
He absolutely has. And in this country, if you want to keep a spot on a Major League Cricket team, if you want to work your way into the national team at some point, and you bowl his role, batting is a very important thing. It's something you have to work on. And so if he can come in here and strike, and strike quickly, it'll be a big thing for this team, but it'll show his continued growth as a cricketer.
Down the leg side will be wide there from Derval Green. Just looking to attack the body of Ponzo. We've seen him with width be really successful. I think just trying to rush onto him. But you mentioned it. We have a plethora of left arm spinners in the United States. And you talk about batting is what separates the ones that are on the fringe and the ones who are on the team. Think about Anash Kenjige, what he's done over his career, and Ali Sheikh, who's a real up-and-coming one, Sanjay Krishnamurti. All these guys with the bat are valuable in the middle. This one beating Emilio Ponzo. Just looked to open the legs up and just unable to get bat on ball.
Yeah, that said, all that said about batting, absolutely true. That said, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a bowler with the nous, with the knowledge and the ability of Emilio Ponzo, considering his upbringing, considering where he came from, considering the experience he has abroad. You're going to be hard-pressed to find a local who can produce that.
Right now, Derval Green is producing one heck of an 18th over. Has just given up 2 runs after that single to make it 3 with the wide. But other than that, it's been real tough goings. But Emilio Ponzo's done his job, gotten off strike, and the burden of this tail end is going to rest upon the shoulders of Obis Pinar. What can he do? Can he find 20 runs, 30 runs here in the last 3?
Well, we both know he can, but not right now.
Yeah, they're not letting him. They're not letting him. No width on offer. Nothing has been real loose. And again, it's almost a trademark of the Baltimore Royals. They just don't give you many loose deliveries. This is a team that understands every person understands their role, and they've executed that role to the highest level.
Yeah, they've got options everywhere. And, you know, when you have a team with so many different bowling options everywhere, it helps to put your hand up and perform when you're called upon.
Bat on ball this time. It's in the air. Fielders will converge. Won't get out into the deep. They'll come back for 2. Good running from the Atlanta Fire, but good bowling from Derville Green, keeping things very difficult on Emilio Ponzo and the Atlanta Fire.
Looked a little bit like Aponzo was a little bit way out in front of that one. Had to kind of slow himself down and therefore just kind of paddle it.
You mentioned the bowling options for the Baltimore Royals. They have not even looked to Bipul Sharma today. In the 11, back in, the left arm spinner hasn't been used. It's because none of the bowlers have faltered in any way. Slower ball hit into the air. Will this time, will it find a fielder? Terrific take. No, he's dropped it. He's put it down. Novotniker had to come a long way in from long gone. Going to feel like he should have really held on to this one, but he's put it down.
Yeah, Narvacar let his elbows get in the way of that one. It looked like a little bit to me. No, he landed on the ball. He landed hands to hands first onto the ball. Not elbows. It was not elbows.
A disappointing end for the Baltimore Royals to close out the 18th over, 98 for 5. The lights on at Church Street Park. Can the fire under him? Obis Bernard goes down the ground. Has he got all of it? No. And simple take for Sahib Malhotra. Never looked in real rhythm, Obis Bernard. Unable to refuel with Lakshmi. And right now, it's been all Baltimore Royals today on this Friday evening.
Yeah, one of the deepest parts of the ground right there. Tough spot to clear. Didn't time it perfectly. And here's the replay right here. You know, he's going to be going on that length. You have to go for that ball. You have to go for it. Just didn't catch it cleanly, and he was caught 3-4 yards inside the boundary. Easy peasy.
Disappointing return to Church Street Park comes to an end for Obis Bernard, but the Baltimore Royals had their Lakshmi Rice before today's match there, Nate, because they've done everything right so far. Everything's been perfect.
And maybe Atlanta had too much Lakshmi Rice before the game. We don't know. Is there such a thing?
Well, right now, Corne Dry will replace from one South African to another. He comes into the middle. Again, Corne Dry has really started to come on as a bat late in innings, able to get the ball straight back down the ground. Such a big hitter, but also has developed the ability to be very cheeky. We've seen him play scoops and little touches into the leg side behind the keeper, so I'm just curious to see how he goes about his innings, but he's got really no time to think about it. Only 98 runs on the board here in the 19th over.
Yes, and it's almost a credit to Aponzo's batting, or how highly Atlanta thinks of it, that Corne Dry didn't come in before, when you think about it, because he is capable of a lot of destruction. He's a strong batter. Obviously, he's tall and long, can create that leverage.
Pushed into the leg side. Batra has quietly picked up a couple of wickets now and has been very, very economical. Just giving up 22 runs through 3.2 overs, 2 wickets to his name as well. A really good showing at Church Street Park for the young under 19.
And when we talk about how this league, one of the things you want is you want to have the inclusion of the U21s, but you don't want token inclusions. And sometimes in a T20 match, you can hide a guy. And this is not happening today. This is a bowler, a young bowler who's being put in a very important role right now.
Goes down the ground. Work to be done from the fielders, and will do it well. Keeps it to just 1. You mentioned him doing the job well. Again, his first spell was really full, using the movement. But it's the incredible understanding for him and the ability to say, hey, look, ball's not swinging. I'll pull the length back. It's a hard length to hit. I'll keep it there and use my variations. He's done it so very well, Aryan Butler. It's a credit to him and his development.
Absolutely. He's been fantastic. Like you said, his first spell, he was solid. These last, 8, 9 balls that he's bowled have been tremendous.
And again, the Baltimore Royals have gone through this innings in a hurry. Again, no Bipul Sharma, not even bowling. He's in the 11, primarily as a bowler, and he hasn't been used a single over. It's just a credit to the Royals bowlers, but this time it's gone haywire. One of the rare occasions he's gone full, and Cornet Dry uses those long levers to pick up 4 runs.
There you go. That's what you need to do. That's what Atlanta needs to do with those fuller balls right at the, fuller, straighter balls. They need to do this. They need to dispatch them right back over the bowler's head, just like that. And you gotta think they had a couple of those opportunities earlier in the innings.
Looking to pull, but the slower one, the slower bouncer. Good there from Batra. Spotted the movement from Cornet Dry early all the way to off stump, and then dug it into the wicket and used the slow nature of it and his variation to just throw him off rhythm.
Yes, the slower, shorter ball works really well right now at that line, at that particular line.
Good comeback from the young man. 1 delivery left in the 19th. Pushed into the offside. We'll get a single, and Cornet Dry will face to start the final over. But the penultimate one, still one the Royals would fancy. 105 for 6. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got an order coming, it's on its way if you're here in Mooresville, because FedEx, they've just entered RDU. So if you have a package, it will be on your doorstep in a couple of days. Right now, the Baltimore Royals, they've delivered the goods so far, have kept the Atlanta Fire to 105 with just 6 deliveries to go. And good thing for them, Derville Green to bowl them. Look to try to be innovative. Cornet Dry will just fetch himself a leg by. Could fetch himself a second one. No reason for Derville Green to really throw it. But they'll pick up 2 runs nonetheless, so the leg by gets them 2.
Right into the backside there, that throw. Right into the backside with Cornet. And Cornet just kept, just ran in his path and knew that ball, I think he knew that ball was going to hit him if he just maintained his path.
For Cornet Dry, you mentioned he's added that shot to his game. He likes to play that shot.
The Q shot?
He enjoys it with fine leg. That was stationed inside the ring. He just try to use the pace for 4, but different story now. A lot of movement. Didn't react to it. Derville Green, slower bouncer, works wonders yet again.
Now, Derville's got the kind of pace where, any change of pace on the pitch isn't going to be as dramatic as someone who bowls slower than him is going to be. You don't have to time it as perfectly, but this wicket is definitely slowing the ball down on the shorter deliveries.
It's been a tough, painstaking in the middle. Can they get to 120 to Fire? Not if Derville Green has anything to say about it. They'll push for 2. No, they'll just settle. Emilio Ponzo will have to face this over out now. Cornet Dry really unable to get bat on ball, and it's credit to the bowling of the Royals, credit to the bowling of Derville Green. Nate, you talked about it, 125, you thought it's total to defend. That's going to be a stretch to get from here. And outside edged, but no run, just the 1 run on offer.
And to be honest, it was always going to be a stretch from where they were coming from to get to 125, but it seemed at least attainable.
And this will be good for the Baltimore Royals because you mentioned their top order has not been firing at all cylinders, haven't gotten the real scores from the top order, but Jessica Malota, very experienced on Church Street Park, and not a huge total to go get. Slower ball, met on the full, chance of a run out, won't be, but they'll get 1. Derville Green will be very disappointed that he wasn't able to find the stumps from maybe a couple of feet away, really.
My throw does not look so bad right now at that point.
I think your throw might have been contagious, Nate. You threw that to Derville Green.
I think my throw was on line. It was short. It was on line, right? if you're short on line at the stumps, it's not a bad thing.
Well, Turbo Green, even with that mishap, has not done a bad thing. A delivery to go here, 110 on the board. This is going to be a chase the Baltimore Royals will feel very, very comfortable with. And again, you could talk about giving chances up top the order here, but I think really it's about picking your pair, going with them, and trying to give yourself the best chance to win this game as quickly as possible. What an off-cutter that was. Emilio Ponzo swinging all around it. What a bowling innings it's been for the Baltimore Orioles. Holds the high-powered Atlanta Fire to just 110 runs, Nate.
Yeah, that was a display right there. You know, there was some mistakes made by the batting side, of course, to help keep that total so low. But you got to credit the captaincy here of this Baltimore side to go with what was working, to stick with what was working. As you mentioned, they had options that they didn't go to, and they didn't have to go to them because everything that they had picked went according to plan.
Well, that was all she wrote for that innings. Aaron Jones, the highest score with the bat, 29 from 23. Nasser Hussain, 21 off 19, looked the best in the middle. And Obis Pinar, 17 from 23. 2 wickets for Jasker Malhotra, just giving up 18 runs. 2 for Aryan Batra, giving up 28. Sahib Malhotra, a wicket for him, giving up just 17. And Sarvjit Ladda claims a wicket as well. But don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. If we know something about Church Street Park, there's always something in the cards. Could be a very close one that we have on our hands. You can see the scenic views as the sun sets. Join us as the lights come fully out. The sun goes down right here as the Baltimore Royals look to chase 111.
Don't go anywhere unless you drive one of the white vehicles at the north end. Then you can come and move it.
Don't park behind the side screens. We'll see you right back here for the second innings chase.
I believe, to start the season off before breaking for the GT20.
Starts off well, Mulholland. It's just interesting to see those decisions as it's in the air. Taken. First wicket. It's a wicket. Runs. This could be a boundary. It could be a catch. It will be a catch. Fire. And we'll find runs straight away. We'll find 4 of them. Can't do that if you're Jasker Malhotra. Far too straight. Far too easy. That after the ball. Again down the leg side. Again, going to be 4 runs. Not sure what the plan is to Aaron Jones. Nate Hayes, he wants redemption.
That rain.
In the air, will be 4 runs through covers. A welcome shot for Zane. He was so good in that series as this time he gets it in front of that cover fielder. He'll find 4. Undoes him completely. Zain Zayed reverse sweeps again. This time gets bat on it and will find a boundary over the top. Respond. Gets into that shot early. Could fetch another boundary. Yeah, after consecutive boundaries. It's in the air. Cries of catch it. Derville Green settling. And Aaron Jones goes. This one gets through backward point. It's going to be 4 runs for Nasser Hussain. Just a touch bit of width on offer. Beats up. Run down through third man. Beats Sarvjit Ladda there. Chase on. Chase goes in vain. 4 runs. Can he now accelerate? Looks to. In the leg side. Fielder in place, but not going to get there. Little touch. He's going to be gone. He's going to be gone there now. I'm going to feel like he should have really held on to this one, but he's put it down.
Yeah, Narvacar let his elbows get in the way of that one. It looked like a little bit.
Obis Pinar goes down the ground. Has he got all of it? No. And simple take for Sahib. So just a credit to the Royals bowlers, but this time it's gone haywire. One of the rare occasions he's gone full, and Cornet Dry uses those long levers to pick up 4 runs.
There you go. That's what you need to do. That's what Atlanta needs to do with those.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
Here we are back into this 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, where the Baltimore Royals don't have a tall task on their hands here at Church Street Park. You can see, some of the crowd starting to fill through as we see the track getting walked in on and the team's out in the middle ready to go. The Baltimore Royals just 111 runs to go, Nate, but we know about this Atlanta Fire bowling attack and how deadly they can be.
Deadly they can be. They can be very deadly. This is Jeremy Gordon's going to start with the ball, it looks like, the Canadian national. A very quick bowler. He's going to have to be accurate today, though. In these lower scoring games, the quicker bowlers, they can go for quick runs as well, but they do take wickets.
And you can see there the Fire camp, they're going to need him to start off well. They always bring that Fire tent. They're always selling their merchandise, and they're gearing up for tomorrow's brew event and getting ready to go. Jeremy Gordon's going to start off to the captain, Jaskar Malhotra, has a new opening partner yet again today. It's another Canadian, Bargat Singh.
Yep, absolutely. And you mentioned the Atlanta merchandise. Last year I got a hat from them. I bought a hat from them because I like to have a hat from every team. I lost. I went on a golf trip and I left it at the hotel.
Nate,
Can you imagine
Nate,
that?
What have you done? Nate Hayes, what have you done?
Great golfing hat, too, I felt like. So I'm going to have to go buy another one from these guys.
We'll see if we can get you a discount there, Nate. You might need to tell them that sob
Somebody
story.
tell them that. Somebody send them this footage here. See if they give me a discount.
And right now, just trying to fix some stuff happening in the side screen.
Got some side screen action happening here.
And again, our very own producer director, Robert Begg, trying to fix the whole event and trying to get it happening. It looks like Jessica Malhotra's satisfied. Gordon, first ball. Given width to get a run straight away off the mark. A tight single nonetheless, but we saw Malhotra do this at Church Street Park early in the season. Take those singles, not really look to be big early, and with this score on the board, can play this mature innings.
Yeah, that's all you got to do is take those singles. Now, it was nice to see that reaction from the Fire, going hard into the, going hard right there from in the field right away, feeling like they had a chance on that run out, and they did actually have a chance on that run out. So it's nice. I think sometimes that gets you right in the game right away. If the first ball, something like that happens, I think it gets you on your toes.
Absolutely. Now a Canadian national team matchup. Bargat Singh gets some width, gets some runs straight away. Again, he's someone who comes in, who's highly coveted. Played Ranji cricket back in 2015, made his debut, and then lately made his debut for Canada T20 in 2022 and ODI in 2023 earlier this year. So this is someone who comes in with a high reputation. These two in the middle, can they be the opening pair the Royals have been searching for? You just see the slow nature of the wicket on that delivery, Nate. It just kind of struggled to get up to Malhotra, even with the pace of a Jeremy Gordon.
Yeah, when you see it slowing down that much from somebody like Jeremy Gordon's pace, that tells you an awful lot.
Again, it's going to be on the wickets early. Can the Atlanta Fire get them? Can they break through? Can they get Malhotra, who's so good on this ground? It'd be such a huge blow. Looking to get that quick single, and does. I think he's understanding the slow nature of the wicket. There's that single plop straight down onto the turf. It's mature innings here from the captain.
Yeah, they don't have to hurry in any way. Under no pressure at all, no reason to add it to yourself. And you got to be, wicket. If the wicket is doing tricky things, you don't want to be facing Jeremy Gordon right now.
Edged, but no slip in place. It'll run through to third man, and it'll bring up 4 runs as well. Very, very fine. And the first boundary for the Baltimore Royals.
You can see that. As you said, no slip fielder there. And you think if you're going to bowl that length and that line, it might be something you want to consider.
And Gordon does get some movement away. It's the angle in which he delivers the ball. Comes from really a side on sense. So just interesting to see no slip for him early. given the width, but also given the situation, Nate. This is a game where the wickets are going to matter. The Atlanta Fire need them early. I think the aggressiveness is there. Kind of missing from Aaron Jones, but it'll close out the first over. A good one for the Royals. 7 without loss.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Well, here we go. Emilio Alponso will have ball in hand. Not going to open with Cornet dry. The big quick spin operated from this end most of the day, and the Atlanta Fire looking to do just that.
Well, we've seen before, even when Cornet captains himself, he'll bowl himself in all kinds of situations, in just about every situation. He doesn't have to bowl, 2 in the power play and 2 in the death. He's flexible to bowl anywhere. So this is a pretty good tactic, I think.
Make some room. It's in the air. Cries of catch it. Viraj Magala hangs on. Brilliant from the youngster running behind. And that's the captain. He goes. The move to Emilio Alponso works immediately. And a twist in the tail and the Fire back in it.
And there's a big catch from the big guy I mentioned earlier. You can see him. You can see the size of that unit right there, standing next to Jeremy Gordon. But look at this wonderful catch. He seemed confident the entire way. Jaskaran catches the outside edge, leading edge a little bit there. And look at that. Nice job. If you saw him while he was running, he seemed like he was under that the whole time. He tracked it the entire way. Very good catch. Those are not easy catches, especially running down the slope that we have here. The 1% grade here at Church Street Park. That is not an easy catch, but he didn't panic the entire way. He looked it into his hands.
Well, the backward spike might need to be a celebration we see more often. Behind him.
The backward spike.
I enjoyed it.
Was that on purpose, you think?
You know what? We'll give him the credit. He took the catch. He can get the credit for the backward spike.
There is the backward spike. Remember the old 80s? They used to do the backward spike.
The
in
NFL,
football,
yeah,
the NFL.
absolutely.
Yeah.
He's doing it. He's just a big NFL fan, guys.
I asked you to remember the 80s. That's a funny thing to say.
I remember. No longer a teenager.
You watched the same NFL films that I have.
Exactly. There you go. But Viraj Magala, remember, he's been promoted into the 11 today. Hasn't really played through any season of minor league cricket, and he's come in taking a big catch. It's a pressure situation to get the captain gone on this surface with this score on the board. Running back, never easy. Under the Lee's lights, never easy. It brings out Ahad Malik, the man who's been keeping wicket. He scored here at Church Street Park already. He'll have to do so, but have a tough task facing Emilio Alponso.
Yeah, and we mentioned the trouble that Baltimore's had with their top order batting in recent games, and will that continue today after that Jaskaran wicket? Of course, is yet to be determined. One wicket doesn't necessarily mean that you're having struggles. So let's see how the rest of the top order responds.
Slip and play now to the left-hander. Starts very, very straight. Again, this wicket, it's slow. There's not a lot of, again, pace on the surface. It's one that's going to grip and hold. So be very patient, even with the pace Emilio Alponso has. Pushed into the leg side. Nate again. This is what the Fire needed. They needed that early wicket to create some pressure. Not going to be much scoreboard pressure. 111 just on the board. So they're going to need to be doing just this. Sweeps. Big shout. Big shout. Wants it. Not given. Not given. Probably headed down the leg side just with the angle, but Emilio Alponso asking all the right questions early.
It had to be leg if it was anything. From this point of view, we are just about right by your camera from the north end.
Still no runs on offer. A good over brewing here for Emilio Alponso. On the verge of a maiden now. Will miss out on that maiden with the single into leg side. They'll come back for 2. Malik is quick. And they'll get 2 to close out what was an eventful over and a good one for the Atlanta Fire. After 2, it's 9 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Just the one over for Jeremy Gordon. The Atlanta Fire have opted for spins at both ends. Going to the Bangladeshi national, Nasser Hussain. Nate, you and I saw Hussein's debut in minor league cricket here at Church Street Park last season on July 4th weekend.
It was quite a surprise at the time, I believe.
And how about this? How much has that turned on Fargat Singh? It's turned quite a long way. Caught the glove on the way through, but early good signs for the Atlanta Fire.
Wow, that turned so much. He was so ahead of it that when he edged it, it went to fine leg. That was something else.
Now we'll get to see the left-hander. This is the matchup Hussein will want to exploit, again, with the amount of turn that he's able to get on really any wicket, and then on this surface aiding him, slowing things down. It's going to be real tough for Ahad Malik, but this is someone who likes to get bat on ball and get runs flowing early, Nate.
Absolutely, and I think with the lefty bat in here now, this is going to be very interesting.
Slip still in place for the left-hander Malik. Heavy turn. I think he might have found just a bit of the under edge for 1, but how about this? This one has moved well away from the left-hander, and for the Baltimore Royals, they thought they had an easy chase ahead of them with the abundance of spinners the Fires do have to go to. This could be a real tough one.
It should be. We're going to need a few wickets in this. If you're Atlanta, you're going to want a couple of more wickets in this power play, though.
Can they find them? They've built up early pressure. And again, you can see Fargat Singh just trying to come down the track, but unable to get to the pitch of it. And again, big turn on offer. And this is why Hussein's been given the ball. They often do this. You'll see him bowl in the power play right after it. A lot of trust being given as this pulled into leg side. It'll find 4 runs, a much needed one. Got onto the back foot quickly and fetched 4.
Sometimes it turns a little too much for you. Right into the shot. Let's take a look here. Yeah, he got himself across, and because of the slowdown on the wicket there, it gave him plenty of time. Once he came across the stumps, it gave him plenty of time to read that ball at that particular length.
This one will find the inside half of the bat, run on offer. But again, this is good signs. Even though this run's coming on the board here for the Royals, this just shows you an opportunity to use Aaron Jones, which he hasn't been used a lot in this tournament. Use Obis Pinar, who's new to the team and can be utilized his left arm spin. They have a lot of spinners, and it shows you that you can utilize them in a heavy way. In the air, but it'll be over top of the infield. It'll race towards the boundary, and fielder just able to get there. They'll come back for a third, but it's a good shot there from Ahad Malik. Got onto the back foot this time, played it with the turn to close out the third over. It's 19 for 1. Ponzo starts back in to Ahad Malik, who is starting to find some footing after just struggling with that early signs of turn. He's just found, again, it just seems to be innate for him to find ways to score.
Yeah, it does. It's he's just one of those guys, I guess. And speaking of one of those guys who just always scores, we got Trevon Griffith here with us in the comms box. We're trying to get him to come on and talk, but he's telling us we got to pay him $50.
He's too good of a bat to come in here. I tell you what, too good out on the cricket field. Nate, you and I, we've peaked.
Yeah, I peaked a while back, I think.
I think same here. I think 16 years of age is where I started, and then from there it was downhill sledding. But for Milo Alfonso right now, the Atlanta Fire would hope to end the season on a high note, get a couple of wins and momentum. The Royals looking to claw their way into the playoffs, currently seated in 4th. Needing to move into that 3rd position. A couple of wins and a Lions loss could help their chances, but they both have to be against this Atlanta Fire side. Keeping the right-hander at bay so far, Nate.
Yeah, I think we've got an interesting matchup here. I think the Baltimore is doing a good job, not really taking any chances. They got no reason to at this phase in the innings. Just happy to defend anything they see dangerous. Putting pressure on Atlanta to try to make something happen in the field.
Yeah, keeping wicket today for Atlanta is Zain Zayed. No Jamar Hamilton in the team today, so they'll utilize Zayed's ability behind the stumps. And the Atlanta Fire want to keep this pressure going. Can this pressure lead to a wicket? We're just a delivery away from the close of this 4th over. Actually, we're already there. Rushing through it are the Atlanta Fire. 4 overs gone, 20 for 1.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
Seen enough of spin, have the Atlanta Fire now trying to put pace on. It's just a 1 over for Hussein, but I like the switch. I think the aggressive switching here from Aaron Jones could actually work in their favor. Don't let the batters get too set with any particular bowler. And when you have 2 express quicks, might as well use them. Starting to Ahad Malik. Left alone again. Cornet Dry, he's been an absolute consistent performer in minor league cricket and has put on quite a display at Church Street Park.
Yes, he has. He's lit up those zing bales several times here. And we are in the time of the evening that I like the most, I think, when the sun's fully away and you get that nice, beautiful atmosphere here.
Pushed into the offside. They'll fetch 1. Again, Cornet Dry is someone who likes to be on a length, and I think on this surface it could suit him because of the fact that there is a little bit of that just slow nature of the wicket. You have to wait on the ball. With his pace, it almost second-hand nature is almost just to say, hey, I'm going to be on rhythm with the ball in the air, and then off the wicket it slows up. An opportunity to get something high off the bat, a return catch. I think there's a real opportunity for Cornet Dry and Jeremy Gordon to be real effective.
Absolutely agree with you. I think you have to just field aggressively. You have to set your field in an aggressive way to take advantage of when those things occur.
Push into the leg side, and again, no slip in place, no movement really, and he's not bowling with any width, so I can understand this for Cornet Dry.
Yeah, I get it. I get it right here. I think if you're going to get a miss hit of any kind, it's going to pop up right to the ring, or close to it anyways, where the fielders can get to it. But we see Aaron out there actively encouraging his fielders, encouraging his bowlers.
Pushed, but no runs. Bhargat Singh hasn't found real rhythm. He's had a couple of boundaries. Remember that pull shot that he played, and he was able to push one through the offside. But other than that, hasn't really looked consistent. Those times of middling the ball has been few and far in between.
Yeah, we haven't really seen a whole lot of anything from anybody yet, which is why it's so important for Atlanta right now to be really tidy with their plan and with their execution of their plan, because it looks like right now Baltimore's just happy to take advantage of mistakes.
No run on offer, no run on offer. He's tried that a couple of times, and the result is never going to be different. Again, you heard the definition of insanity. Trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Bhargat Singh seems to be falling into that category at the moment.
Well, let me tell you something also, Amin. If you look in the dictionary, that's not the definition of insanity. But I get what you're saying. It definitely is insane, or it's not a good thing to do. But yeah, let's see how it goes. They need another wicket this power play for sure.
Beats the outside edge, corner dry. What a good end to the over. Pulled the length up just a bit, and that's all the experience from the South African quick. 5 overs gone, 21 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Mila Alponzo has got ball in hand here. And again, he's going to bowl another over here. He's bowled 2, given up 3 runs, and has taken a wicket. Operating back into the left-hander. Pushed into the offside. Will fetch a couple. They'll go and push for 2 runs. Good running this from the Baltimore Royals. And this is what they're going to need, Nate.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to need to take advantage of these, little gaps in the field and run 2 every chance they get. Every time they put it in a gap just right, they got to run 2. They're not totally pressure free here, and of course every batter that comes in wants to score and they want to stay around for a long time, or they ought to want to do that, especially in this situation. But what do we get here if we get through 6 with less than 30 runs on the board and no more wickets? What are your thoughts?
As this one trails out the leg side, I do think there's an opportunity for the Atlanta Fire to just find themselves into the game. I do think they need another wicket. But the Royals, if you only have 30 runs on the board through the 6 overs, then that's a dream situation if you don't lose a wicket in this over. Just because of the fact that Ahad Malik has looked good. Bhargat Singh, it's been painstaking for him so far, but beyond that, you have Ahad Malik who's looked good in the middle, and you still have batting to come. Rithvik Behera still in the dugout. So I think that if you don't lose a wicket here and you can claw your way to 30-odd runs, I do believe the Baltimore Royals would have the advantage headed into the later part of the game.
We've seen, speaking of Ritwick, we've seen him bat here a bunch this year, or a few times, and he seems to get out the same way, driving it into the cover, getting caught. I think maybe him coming in after the power play might help him here.
Second game in a row in which he's not been opening the batting alongside Malhotra. Little sweep connects that time. Bhargat Singh gets it into the gap, and they could push for a couple of runs. They will push for 2. And those 2 runs, valuable 2 runs indeed for the Baltimore Royals. Again, if they can get to 30, I just think it puts them ahead of the game with just about 80 odd runs to get from there.
Yeah, that was a really well executed shot right there.
And you hear the one heart, one fire chants right now from the Fire dugout, just trying to galvanize their side. Bhargat Singh goes down the ground. That's very straight. There'll be 4 runs after struggling early. He's looked good there.
And the last 2 shots he's played have been beautiful, beautifully played shots. Look at this, right over the bowler's head. That's some good stuff right there. We saw who we saw do that quite a lot this weekend was Corey Anderson. I would have hated to be a bowler against Corey Anderson this week, as many times as he went headhunting. And when he does it, it's coming back at like 85, 90 miles an hour.
Pulls the length back upon Zoe, and you mentioned it. Corey Anderson's been absolutely phenomenal, so it has been selected in the BBL as well. Minor league cricket, gotta love it. And you mentioned Nate, 6 overs gone. It's 30 for 1. Well, Nate, both sides, when they went into that innings break, they had their fill of Lakshmi because they're both playing good cricket at the moment. The Fire have taken a wicket, held the Royals to 30 runs, but from the Royals' perspective, just 81 more to go. So these two teams evenly poised at this stage in the game.
Yeah, the advantage definitely with all the wickets at hand is in the game's in Baltimore's favor for sure. But Atlanta still have a chance here. They got to start taking wickets before these two start to get hot. These two, you definitely want to get them out of the middle. But yeah, it's still a ball game.
It's definitely still a ball game. It's anyone's game right now. Just need a required run rate of 5.58. That's all that's required for the Baltimore Royals. But the Atlanta Fire are just a couple of wickets away. If you can get into this middle order, you can see a lot of pressure been put on them, and where it can be really challenging to get back into the game. Not always easy to score in must-win pressure situations.
No, you're right. It isn't. There's still runs to chase down here. But what do you think about these Fire uniforms compared to the last couple of seasons? The first year we saw the flames. Last year we saw the dots, which was an interesting choice. These are really interesting to me. I actually really like these.
I think it's been working for them. I do enjoy the red and black. And right now we're enjoying the bowling of Cornet Dry because that man on your screen has looked so very good.
Yeah, as expected. Almost every game he's bowled here, he's done well. We saw him here in the final last year in finals weekend for 2 games for the semifinal, which Atlanta won, and with Atlanta Fire won, and then again in the final. And so he's used to this ground. He's bowled here a lot. He likes to play here. He loves coming here. We did miss him a little in the regular season because of his child being born last year.
Fuller on this occasion. He's been so good in minor league cricket, but this is such an excellent shot, this, for Mahad Malik. He's looked so good throughout the day, gets one full and wide, and sends it for 4.
Yeah, he pummels that one. And look at this effort here. I think he needs to be a little more careful with his body there. He's a big fella. He could really hurt himself on a play like that. I think there was about a 5% chance he makes that stop, but he went for it. You can't blame the effort, that's for sure.
And Cornet Dry just getting too full, and also I didn't understand the change of angle. He was creating a lot of problems against Atlanta Fire against the Baltimore Royals with the way he was coming across the wicket.
And we had a little break there. There was a Jeep with his lights on.
There you go. That's what you're talking about. Width on offer, pushes across, and he's edged it all the way through. The change of angle works for Cornet Dry. Should have kept it from the beginning, and that'll be it. Cornet Dry gets a Ahad Malik.
Yeah, you said you didn't understand that. That was just to set this up, it looks like. A little, not quite as full this time. Caught that outside edge. And when the ball is away from your eyes like that, at that particular length, it is tricky. You are taking a risk going after it like that.
Yeah, and Ahad Malik, he has to go. The new man will have to come in and start to score. We've seen, again, Ahad Malik really looked comfortable. He looked good, getting runs in a hurry. But as you mentioned, I think it was the ploy. Set him up with a wider one, get him driving, and then once you got him driving, just get him to go after a delivery out. It brings about a man we've mentioned time and time again, Ritvik Behera. He comes out to bat now in a real pressure situation for the young man.
Yeah, pressure situation, but you know, I'm curious to see how he does here with the power play behind us. We've seen him here, like I said before, driving into the covers, getting caught a couple of times earlier this season, right after a nice drive where he went over the covers both times. And so we'll see that shouldn't be as big of an issue this time, although let's see how Atlanta sets the field, of course. But you'd think after the power play, a couple of those fielders might move to the boundary.
Yeah, just no one at short cover you'd have to imagine, or at least they'd be pushed back. You're daring him to play through the covers, and if you've seen the scouting report, you're going to ask him to do just that. I think for Cornet Dry, someone who gets a little bit of extra balance can afford to be maybe a touch fuller and just dare Behera to drive, just like he did to Ahad Malik, was full and took advantage of it.
And we don't see many fielders outside the circle at all right now. We're seeing this continued aggression here from Atlanta. It looks like they're trying to do just what we said.
Starts very, very straight. Wants the first runs, Behera, but none really on offer. Good call there. Obis Pinar was on cleanup duty. Never really got it going, but again, it's a real pressure situation for Behera. Not only is he trying to really find some runs and some flow, but his side needs him to do that now. If they lose here, playoffs almost take out of the question for them.
Yeah, they absolutely need to win this game. They should win this game. You know, you look at the score, you look at what they're chasing. Yes, the wickets get a little bit slower, but they should win this game.
Pushed into the onside. They'll fetch their first run, Ritvik Behera. As he makes his way again into the middle. It's going to be key for him to really continue and get himself in the right direction amongst the runs.
So now we see the Canadian on strike again. Saw Malik getting out there, and earlier in the season we saw him play a heck of an innings here. 40-odd, I believe, in one of the first games, maybe the first game of the season.
Scored 50 actually in that
50.
match, him and the captain Jessica Malhotra in a well-managed chase. But how about this? The off-cutter, Aspargat Singh just looks to run it over. Again, Cornet Dry's done all kinds of damage to the Baltimore Royals, and that, again, to close out the 7th over, 35 for 2. We talked about spin and the plethora of options the Atlanta Fire have. They're going to another spinner. It's Obis Pinar, the left arm spinner, who we would have seen a lot of here at Church Street Park last season for the Mooresville Raptors, has since made the Southern Division jump to the rival Atlanta Fire, and since returning from the U.S. Masters T10, has looked very good for the side.
Yeah, he's looked great for them. He looked very good at the T10 as well, both with bat and ball. And, you know, there was one innings in particular when he was just getting everyone out with the ball in his 2 overs and just gunning with the bat.
And how about this start? Turn straight away for the big tall man. And I think one of the big parts of the reason he's so successful is because of his height. Even when he flights things up, it's always on a downward trajectory. And so it just creates a sense of duality in the batters. Looking to go through that offside. That, you know, Obis Pinar bowling looks similar to an Obis Pinar shot. That one did.
Yeah, really. It did.
You know, looking to make
playing
room.
Against himself right now.
Beharra's just trying to find any sort of flow. They've opened up covers. They're daring him to drive there, but there's a slip in place. And with the amount of turn on offer, they could just find into those hands. Runs it into the offside. They'll get that quick single. And good way for Hrithik Beharra to just find runs.
Pargat Singh on strike now. 17 off of 20, which is just what the doctor ordered right now for this type of innings for Baltimore. You just want him in there. You want him in the middle for a while longer.
Reverse sweep, big shout. This one looks good. Given straight away. It was in line. There was never a question about that for me. It was always going to be towards the stumps. It was whether there was any bat involved. Didn't look like it. Finger up straight away. And Pargat Singh, after painstaking stay in the middle, he goes.
Great ball there from Obis. Here we go. As you said, this one looked dead on the stumps right there. Now the keeper was going down the leg a little bit there, but I think he's anticipating the contact from the bat. But it looked like, from our vantage point, it looked like it was right in line with the stumps when it hit.
Good stuff here from the Atlanta Fire. Taking wickets now. We saw Had Malik go in the previous over. Now we see the wicket of Pargat Singh. Two brand new bats will have to find their way into the middle and find runs. And they'll have plenty of bats. You have the likes of Ravinder Singh still to come alongside Neo Navrekar. It'll be interesting to see which direction they go with. Both of whom prolific bats. Ravinder Singh, if you remember, in 2021, part of the top 10 run scorers in minor league cricket, but hasn't found runs. And Neo Navrekar opened in their previous match, but got out in the very first over. Who do they side to? Looks like they're going to side in the favor of the man who was the top 10 run scorer. Ravinder Singh has bat in hand to join Hrithik Beharra.
And we know Ravinder Singh has an excellent history in minor league cricket and a good reputation in the D.C. area cricket scene. Very good cricketer. Lots of experience abroad.
You have the biggest...
Oh, no, it's Narvarkar's coming in. Well, we once again, we were fooled a little bit by the score sheet.
Been duped by the scorers. The scorers just want to have play games with us. It is Neo Navrekar. And for Neo Navrekar, this is a man who, again, we've seen him get starts, but much like the rest of the Baltimore Orioles team, haven't gotten those big innings that they would really want out of one of their premier bats. And again, he's been moved all around the order. Opening, middle, lower middle. It's just going to be about finding rhythm. Has to start against Obis. Bowled him straight away. No movement of the feet. And Obis Pinar takes off the bails. And the Atlanta Fire, they've got 3 and 2 overs. And Pinar, it's 2 and 2.
He's on hat trick now. So we might see maybe the scorers knew something that we didn't. They just said we're going to jump straight to Ravinder Singh.
Yeah, huge gap between bat and pad, and Obis Pinar said, thank you very much. On this turning wicket, I'm going to take off the stumps all day long. A string of low scores continue for Neo Navrekar, and the Atlanta Fire, after only getting to 110, are creating some difficult situations now for the Baltimore Royals.
Yes, this is not a spot you want to be in. We were talking before about, we were debating a little bit sort of about Hrithik Beharra's, the pressure he was under when he came in. I didn't think it was that much. You said he was under pressure, but now he's really under pressure, wouldn't you say? He is under some serious pressure now.
And now it'll be Ravinder Singh making his way out into the middle to join Hrithik Beharra, and has to see off Obis Pinar and see off this hat trick delivery. The Fire, they're amped up. They're ready to go. And what they say about wildfires, it only takes one match to get things going and light it up. Right now, the Fire, they got that match, and things are starting. The wildfire is starting to spread.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, Ravinder Singh has a good reputation. That still stands, even when he's not in the middle. But now he's in the middle, and so this is good. It's nice. I think it's nice when you're Hrithik Beharra and you're standing there like, oh my goodness, what's happening? And we have ourselves a little car alarm happening right now. It's the Jeep once again. Who would have thought? Who would have thought it'd be the Jeep once again?
Well, here we go. Even with all the horns, that must be the horns going off in the Baltimore Royals dugout at the moment, because they are starting to get in that panic mode where it's 111. It's Church Street Park. We've played here. It's not a terrible wicket. And right now, we are 6 wickets away from being eliminated from the playoffs. Hat trick delivery. In the air, away. Mid-wicket was brought up. Mid-wicket was brought from the circle to short. and does well enough for Ravi Singh to chip it over. It's a good over for Obis Pinar. 2 wickets to come in it. 8 overs gone. It's 37 for 4. Nasser Hussain, after those 2 wickets, is back with bat in hand, with the ball in hand. We'll start off to the left-hander, Ravinder Singh. And can he inflict another wicket and put more pressure on the Royals and get them halfway through the lineup?
That was a sequence. That sequence there is one of the reasons we love cricket. You know, weird things can happen. You can be on hat trick and the batter just barely get it over the wall that you basically set up for them. But yeah, we've got a great game in front of us. We got Chicken 65 in the air in the comms booth. I'm always wondered what Chicken 1 through 64 was like.
Well, right now Nasser Hussain trying to find wicket number 5. And nearly does it there. You can see the flight he's offering. Different to Jaskar Malhotra, the off spinner of the Royals, who was quick through the air, rushed on to the batters. Hussain slowing things down, using the wicket. And just fended away. Ravinder Singh, with all of his experience, would have seen really good spin bowling and now has to use all of that technique to keep himself in the middle.
Absolutely. And as a neutral here, you know, we want to see this game go right down to the wire. We want to see a guy like Ritwik Behera pull this game a long ways.
Pushed into the offside. They'll fetch 1, and now a battle here for Ritwik Behera. Has not been amongst the runs. Had a tournament in Michigan before minor league cricket and was scoring runs at will there. But since minor league cricket has started, has not been able to find that consistent flow of runs. It's hit the odd boundary and has looked really good.
Yeah.
But he's just not been able to find that consistent flow, and now is operating against an someone who's played international cricket. And it's a whole other challenge as he tries to find runs in a pressure situation.
Yes, and Ritwik himself has played international cricket for USA against Ireland, but he's still so young.
Down the ground, but Hussain, he's up to the task. You mentioned that Ireland series. Again, there showed some good shots, but just unable to get himself really going in that series down in Lauderhill. Down the ground again, off the pads, but there's got to be a ploy he's got to get out of. You don't want to go down the ground. It's almost like premeditated, and Hussain is expecting it. He's pulled the length back because you're attacking him. Stay back.
I think batters are about 50% today on premeditated shots, which is not a very good percentage. But yeah, we've seen Ritwik, as we said, he's been getting out a lot, but he has looked so good just before he's gotten out every time I've seen him.
Big turn, big turn. It'll go down as leg buys, but it'll still be runs for the Atlanta Fire. That one's jumped a long ways up. It's climbed by Behera, who's not sure in any regard, and hit him really above the hip to close out this 9th over, 39 for 4.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Obis Pinar, why not bring him back? He's taken 2 wickets already. Familiar to Church Street Park. Can you do it again? What a start he's having. On this surface, he's just found the ability. He knows where he wants to bowl, and that's the real key with Obis Pinar. Sorry. Swing and a miss, near stumping. I think had he flicked off the bails, it could have been really, really tight there for young Ritvik Behera. Oh, bail was flicked, but he was well down. He was well down there. Didn't light up the zing bails on that occasion, but.
And after 9 in the first innings, Atlanta were 42 for 3. So this is, they're batting from a hole now at this point. Baltimore is.
Batting from a hole. Behera's got to be careful not to fall in that trap at covers. There's a slip in place for that who's a little bit deeper. Again, they've opened that region up, daring Behera to push there away from the spin against that turn and create that edge. Tries to switch it. A little bit of a shout there from Pinar. Didn't look too convinced about it, but getting into the desperation now is Behera. Big turn. How has that gone through Behera and then to the leg side? Obis Pinar, he's been in a real sense of rhythm and flow. Maybe not just with the bat, but with the ball. Today, the bat wasn't his best day. He'll tell you that. But with the ball in hand, he's making up for it. And why Dane Pete in 2022, so this is going to be the MVP of the league one of these days. Cuts. Gets it through the infield, off a misfield. And it'll just be one, but what an over this is turning out to be. One delivery left and just one run on the board. And you mentioned it, now starting to bat in a little bit of a deficit. Their required run rate, not crazy, but moving up.
Yes, and Obis so far, 3 runs, just 3 runs allowed in his 1.5 with 2 wickets. This is exactly what Atlanta needed. You can see how he's turned this game on its head.
He'll have a delivery in to Ravinder Singh. Can he get one through the gate? Just tucked into the leg side will be one. Another really good over from Obis Pinar. Just 2 runs to come in it, and the Atlanta Fire now, they are well in this match. 41 for 4 after 10. Nasser Hussain. Oh my goodness, how much has that turned? That's a 90-degree turn there, Nate Hayes.
This is one of those things we mentioned that Hamilton is not in the team today. So Zane doing a good job. It's not easy to keep when the ball's turning this much.
Pushed into the offside. There's no run on offer. We talk about bowling in tandems. Those two, Obis Pinar, Nasser Hussain, are doing just that. They had a big partnership that lasted about for 28 runs. Now they're putting one together with the ball. Floated up a little bit more and still nowhere to go. This game is going to need to break open at some point. Who's going to get first? Will it be Ravinder Singh or will it be Nasser Hussain? Who's going to make the first mistake? In the air. It's down the ground. It'll be one out to long off. You just felt like there was going to be a shot coming. But he's done well, Ravinder Singh, just to check it.
And as good as Hussain has looked, doesn't have too many balls left. I believe he only has 8 balls left in his quota for the day. No wickets yet from him. I can hardly believe it as effective as he's looked.
He's deserved one. The amount of turn he's getting. Can he find one against Behera? Cuts well, but what a stop. What a stop. That was Lendl Simmons there at cover. The new man into the side has done an incredible job.
That's good stuff. Nice stop there.
Big turn, big turn on Behera, who was just looking to play it straight back down the ground and has somehow come off of his thigh pad. He's saying, how would I have possibly known to pull that one? That'll be the end of the over. 11 gone, 42 for 4.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Low full toss, met with some runs here. It will just be one to long gone. Obis Pinar has been so good there, and this speaks to the importance of a Pinar to a side.
Yeah, extremely good. He's still got 2 overs in hand, so you got some rocky roads ahead if you are the team in vanilla pudding colored shirts.
We're back to the pudding. We're back to the pudding, ladies and gentlemen. Nate Hayes has brought out the hex codes.
On this light, I think it's more banana pudding, I think, on this light.
And this one's turned quite a bit. It's turned square, this one has.
There's your guy. There's your Lyndall Simmons right there. What a good stop.
Trying it as Behera. He's trying anything to score runs against this man here, Obis Pinar, who's made the jump to the Atlanta Fire. And the Fire hope he's going to be the reason they jump to a championship victory this season. Gets bat on it this time. We'll get some runs. Be just one of them, but valuable for the Baltimore Royals. Again, the required run rate might be moving upwards of 7, but if they can just fetch themselves 4 to 5 with the spinners on, you feel like they can accelerate later.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw there the throw in was a little low. I think the fielders sometimes when they play here for the first time have to understand you got to kind of throw up a hill a little bit when you're throwing it in. You got to try to overthrow it almost.
Pushed into the offside. We'll get another run. Again, Obis Pinar's bowled so well that these runs just feel like specks of gold with how well he's just toyed with the batters.
You can almost hear the sighs of relief from the batters as they run to the other end. That you got to think they're not going to feel like they need to get used to that.
Last delivery here in the 12th over. And we'll find a single on it. No, could be a mix-up. It won't be. A little bit of a mix-up in the field as well. It will lead to a quick single. Now to close out the 12th over, 46 for 4. Nasser Hussain to bowl his final over. He's just given up 13 runs in his previous 3, but he'll be searching for his first wicket. Behera, again, he's just struggled to find runs. He's tried everything, the reverse sweeps, the switch hits. This time the big slog sweep, nothing has connected yet.
Yeah, he's grasping at straws right now. He's been in there kind of relatively a long time, 19 balls.
Down the ground again. Yet again, no bat on it. You can just sense the young man who's just used to being free-flowing and explosive is just starting to struggle with the fact that he's being bogged down.
Well, this is in a boxing match, you just want to let them punch themselves out a little bit, so to speak.
How firmly was that hit through the covers? That one will race away. It'll race for 4 runs as well. Beautifully done from Behera. He'd been struggling to get bat on ball, but once he found the middle, there's no question that was going to race for 4.
He made good contact. This is what this is what we expect from the youngster. This is what he's capable of, and yeah, we have seen a couple almost panicky shots here from him, but he needs to know that if he's around, he'll find these shots if he can stick himself around, and he's stuck around.
Big turn on offer and chopped it on. He was looking to play a very similar stroke, but that turn, we saw it in the previous over, undoes Behera, and after that boundary, finds his way back to the dugout.
That was an immense amount of turn and bounce. It popped up on him right there, and in that case, you kind of just want to hope that you just miss everything. Let the ball get past the keeper and maybe get a couple out of it, but here we go. You'll see right here. The length is good, but he would have wished that he missed that altogether. He just punished by your own coordination right there.
Yeah, remember the previous over? That was something similar, setting up for a straight bat shot, and then it turned well towards the leg side. This time, because he was setting up to open up through covers, it just undid him. You mentioned also earlier, Nate, that Hrithik Behera, time and time again, looks so good right before he's gone out. Just played a brilliant shot, and then a couple deliveries to follow, has just gotten out. Same story again.
Trying to play a similar shot to the shot he just played, as we've seen him before when he's gotten out. We've seen him trying to play the same shot he just played and getting out in the process.
It'll bring out Sahib Malhotra, new man, new addition to the Baltimore Royals. And when he was a new addition for the Dallas Mustangs, he hit a brilliant 90 very quickly to win them a game. Won't need to score 90 runs, but the Baltimore Royals would want something similar here in his first game, a part of the side.
Still some time for certain, but they're going to need this partnership here to stick around for a while and maybe go run a ball if they can even manage that.
It's going to be tough sledding straight away as Nasser Hussain's picked up his first wicket in his final over. Just need to see his way through it. Big turn yet again. He's playing well outside. 5th, maybe 6th stump, and that one's just turned, again, square it feels.
Yeah, we're getting an unusual amount of bounce down there, it looks like. I haven't seen really anything stay low yet, have you?
No, everything's been jumping up at the batters. This one on pads, it looks very, very close. Looks good. Given, it looks straight away. Malhotra saying is headed down leg. I'm not sure it was. You could see just the outer half of middle stumping off. And I think it's the delivery going the other way as well. Undone him. Malhotra's in and out. And the Atlanta Fire well ahead of the match.
Yeah, that looked absolutely plumb from here. It didn't take Alvin long to put his finger up for that one.
And again, Malhotra was saying it's headed down the leg side. If you take a second look at this, I think it's the delivery going the other way.
Yeah, let's take a look. He must have just lost it out of his sight here. It's not uncommon now. You can see that actually did turn. It did turn, but it didn't look like it turned too much. You see, he said no, he was thinking maybe. So there we go. Yeah, that was a good delivery. It might have actually been going down the leg. It looked like it turned a little bit, but it didn't.
It was close. You could see middle and off, and again, it hit the inner half of the pad, and I think that was the decision for Alvin Barnett, who's standing umpire at the moment.
In real time, it looked awfully straight, but yeah, it turned a little bit. But I think it looked like it. I don't have any problem with that call.
Well, even if you had a problem with it, there's no way we're reviewing this one here. Minor league cricket, umpire says, umpire goes, and Sahib Malhotra comes and goes. Unfortunately for him, can't replicate the magic he found in his debut last season, and now a new man will have to come join Ravinder Singh. Sahil Kapoor, who's more than capable of playing in mature innings, did it against the Fort Lauderdale Lions for the Baltimore Royals, and that lost. But tall task when you still have Obis Panar with an over to go.
Yeah, this is a tough day for Baltimore right now. and it's getting tougher every over. I think most people, knowing this Baltimore team, would have absolutely backed them to chase this down. Would have absolutely bet on it.
Would have had to imagine they would chase it down under the lights with the dew factor, but the Fire credit their bowlers and credit Obis Pinar and what he's done. Nasser Hussain 2 wickets in his final over, and talk about Aaron Jones and what he was doing in terms of the captaincy. He was aggressive with the changes. Never let the batters get real set on anybody.
Aggressive with that, aggressive with the field. You can look around and you can see, they're pretty tight. The fielding has been pretty tight. We've had instances where, fielders have been in, not really defensive positions.
Flighted, low full toss. That one dipped late on Sahil Kapoor. We'll get 1. Now, if you're a Royals fan, a loss here does not eliminate the Baltimore Royals. They have 8 points through 8 matches. The Fort Lauderdale Lions have 10 points through 8 matches. Right now, what separates it is those 2 points, but the net run rate for the Royals is much better. Right. And if you were to have the Fort Lauderdale Lions lose their last 2, the Royals win 1 of these 2, they'd finish both at 10, and if the Royals' run rate stays similar, they would be into the playoffs. So they're not eliminated with this loss. It just becomes a must-win tomorrow.
That's right. They needed to win 1 of these 2 games for certain.
Pulled into the leg side, fielder in place, nearly, very, very nearly a one-handed stunner for Viraj Vaghela, but it ends up being a boundary. 4 needed runs for the Baltimore Royals.
Wow, that was a great effort just for Vaghela to get to that ball. That was tricky. He looked like he's been tracking the ball really well. It looked like he tracked that ball right into his hands. If you take a look here, this is the first time someone's really put something on to Obis today. And yeah, you can see Viraj Vaghela up. What do we got happening here in the middle?
That one nearly getting through the off stump. It just went in between bat and pad. And very, very nearly the end of Ravindra Singh after that boundary. You mentioned Viraj Vaghela seems to be very comfortable at Churchill Park. Played a lot of youth cricket through bilateral series up here. So not the first time he's been playing on this ground. And right now, that catch would have really just dampened the mood for the Baltimore Royals and just been that kind of day. It would have put really an end to everything you've seen for the Royals.
Would have dampened someone's mood. Would have made us go absolutely nuts, though. I would have gone crazy.
It would have been Odell Beckham, the George Pickens catch from last season. It would have been something along those lines.
Some Marty Kane stuff there.
Some Marty Kane stuff. Some incredible catches out in the West. Obis Pinar, take a bow. What a spell it's been for him. 4 overs, 15 runs, 2 wickets to his name. He's turned the game on its head. 14 overs gone, 57 for 6.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
Return of pace. Return of Jeremy Gordon. He started off the innings with his deliveries. Don't usually see him bowl a lot of off-speeders, but in the death, he's so good. And on this surface, I think he could just create a lot of problems. Baltimore Royals, they need some runs, and they need them in a hurry.
Yeah,
as you see, a couple tucked into the leg side, just 1.
And Atlanta has taken, like you said, the aggression of their of their bowling tactics is one thing, but putting the bowlers in aggressive situations. Obis and Hussein have both been bowled out. Why not? You need to take the game over at this moment. Don't save anyone for later. You can figure that out when you go.
And they still have plenty of bowlers to choose from. Jeremy Gordon, Cornet Dry, I think the Subramanian, the young man. Also, Aaron Jones can come in and roll the arm as a leg spinner as well. So there's plenty of bowling options on this team. That's what makes the Fire so dangerous. They have so many hats they can hang their head on. This one pushed into the offside. Could be 4. I think Hussein's done well enough. No, he hasn't. He's going to give up 4 runs there along the boundary. And it ends up being 4 must-needed and valuable runs for the Baltimore Royals.
This is the risk when you bowl quickly. You can go, all you need to do is get some bat on it, use the pace, play it behind you. If you can find the right little gap, then you can score pretty easily. That said, it's still a little surprising at this stage in the game that Gordon's only bowled 1 over.
In the air. Has he got enough of it? No, he hasn't. Obis Pinar has affected the game, and Cornet Dry has done the same as well. It was one of the big South Africans. This time, Cornet Dry gets his hands on it, and the off-speeder works from one big quick to another. Jeremy Gordon gets his man.
And it's one of the many number 23s on the team, Cornet Dry. Nice catch there. We got a lot of Michael Jordans on this side.
Well, they're wearing red and black, so might as well be Michael Jordan out there right now. Take a look at this one. Off cutter. Found really the toe end of the bat, and Cornet Dry, very good in the field. Always was going to be underneath that one. Takes it, made it look simple, and that brings out the end. And the Baltimore Royals, they lose their 7th wicket in the form of Sahil Kapoor.
We've seen a couple times today where fielders at the ring have had to go backwards to catch the ball, go backwards at an angle both times. And when you have to do that, your first step matters a lot. You have to take the right kind of drop step to get to your spot and get early enough that you can be still enough to catch the ball. And both fielders have done a good job of taking efficient and quality routes to the ball. The first one was obviously Viraj Vighela, and the second one there, Cornet Dry. But when you're a tall, long person, like the two of them are, your footwork, you have to be economical with that first step.
Absolutely, and talking about being economical, Derval Green was with the ball and with the bat. We know about his explosive tendencies. Has come up short lately, has just not been able to see the game through. He's going to want to change that today. He's in the middle, facing Jeremy Gordon. How about this start from Jeremy Gordon? All hands up. Derval Green, he looked like he started on the back foot, then went forward. And this is what Jeremy Gordon can do. This is his talent.
Yeah, and you'll always hear that almost like a tennis serve grunt from him when he releases the ball.
Sounds like Ben Shelton when he's out there.
Absolutely. I'd love to see Jeremy Gordon crush a tennis ball, to be honest with you.
We got to make that a series. These guys trying other sports, but Jeremy Gordon, he's picked the right one because of what he's doing right now in the middle. Rolled the fingers over it. No run on offer. Derval Green again. It's a tricky period. 51 runs needed from 5.1 overs, from 31 deliveries. It's not a tall ask for the batters, but on this surface with this bowling, it just becomes tricky.
We talked about how they were at 30 for 1 after 6 overs, and it was looking like it was definitely in their favor, and they've only scored 30 runs since in the next 8 overs.
And they've lost 6 wickets to accompany that. Short, pulled into the leg side. Fielder won't get around to it. Yes, he will. No, it'll be 4. It'll be 4 runs. Obis Pinar gave chase, but unable to do it.
Whack. Hit that one real well. And like I said, when it comes in quick, it goes out quick. Just missed hitting a 6 there.
Look at Obis Pinar. Might be able to get over there, but will hit well away from him. Our vantage point, I thought Obis Pinar with his long hands got to that one, but ends up being 4 runs. And a valuable 4 runs for Derval Green. Latched onto it quickly. We know about his exploits being a big bat. And at the close of the 15th over, 64 for 7. Nate, the Atlanta Fire need 47 runs from 30 balls with 3 wickets left in hand. Who do you favor at this stage?
Well, it's easy. All you need is 8 sixes, and you're golden.
Well, you got Derval Green to do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I clearly Atlanta is, on the front foot here. They're ahead right now, big time in this game. It's going to take something really special based on all the batting we've seen today in both innings. It's going to take something extraordinary to overcome this hole that Baltimore is in.
Well, my money, if anyone could do it, my money's on Derville Green. He, to me, has been the most explosive batter I've seen in the Southern Division, outside of maybe a Neve McNally in terms of coming in and scoring quickly. And he seems to be in a good run of form. He's not someone who is struggling to find runs. He's someone who can score off anybody. And if there's anyone to do it, to me, it has to be that man, Derville Green. Cornet dry, though. He's got the ball in hand, starting off to Ravinder Singh. Wants a single, won't get it. Derville Green was off, but sent back by Ravinder Singh. And again, I like the intent from Derville Green, but the Atlanta Fires, the credit to them in the field.
Yeah, good stuff. Way to pounce on that in the field. Good fielding. We've seen some good fielding in the circle today. But yeah, you mentioned how good Derville Green has been with the bat. He's just a fun cricketer to watch in all aspects, if you ask me.
Pushed into the offside again. No run on offer. Cornet dry. He's such a cool customer. He's not someone who's going to overdo it. He's just doing the job. He's not trying to deliver the glory ball, the hero ball. He's just looking to bowl the right line, the right length consistently. And this surface, where you can bowl on a good length and be rewarded, it suits him perfectly.
Yeah, this is definitely one of his favorite places to bowl. But yeah, you were talking about McNeely too, from the Lightning, right? Yeah, my goodness, what a fun player he is to watch. I can't wait to watch him tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, all of you should come out tomorrow to the Brew Cricket Festival, happening right here in Mooresville, happening in Philly a couple weeks ago, and now we're having it right here in Church Street Park. So head over. Gates open at 1 p.m. We'll be out here till 10 p.m. So come party with us here in the Combox, enjoy the hill of Church Street Park, and enjoy 2 wonderful cricket games. And guess what? Entry, it's free.
Bring your noisy Jeep, park it, make a lot of noise, honk the horn. Flicker the lights, whatever you want. Actually, don't do that.
You can also support the hometown Mooresville Raptors, and they'll need it. They need 2 wins and losses from the Baltimore Royals in each of their 2 games and the Fort Lauderdale Lions. So plenty of stuff to happen here for the Mooresville Raptors. So if you're a Mooresville Raptors fan, come out tomorrow, enjoy the cricket. If you're a fan of Cornet dry and good bowling, though, you can always see that.
Hey, Cornet and the Atlanta Fire are playing in the first game tomorrow at 2 p.m. This is a rematch of this game here. And after that game, you can try to get players' autographs, meet the players. There's a time period for that in between games. So come on out, meet Cornet dry. Tell him, hey, you're really good here. You bowl super well here. Meet Ovis Pinar, who changed the game today. Talk to him. He's a pretty good guy, too. Does he write left-handed? Maybe he might sign your autograph left-handed even.
Find out and let Nate Hayes know, as this one's going to find the under edge and going to race towards the boundary. Luck for the Baltimore Royals, but it's 4 runs nonetheless. They'll take them any way they can get them, Nate.
Yeah, they will. That's gonna. Every one of those is gold for them right now. They need to become very, very wealthy really quickly.
If they can just get those, any boundaries that they can get. Again, very nearly taken off the off stump. Unlucky for Cornet dry, but Nate, you talked about the game starting at 2. It actually starts at 1.
Does it?
Now, yeah, schedule change.
They moved it up. That makes sense. I was hoping they would do that because it would have been tough to back those 2 games up against each other. 2 and 6, that's a hard thing to do.
So get out here early. As Derville Green goes early through the covers. Gonna find 1. He wants 2. Throw probably to the wrong end. Viraj Vagela upset about that, but good running here for the Baltimore Royals. Good stuff. 16 overs gone, 71 for 7.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Jeremy Gordon has ball in hand, and Baltimore Royals, they're 71 for 7 here in the 16th. Just 40 runs required from the final 4 overs. So 40 from 24, and if Nate Hayes said if they get to 80, you could see them ahead of the game. We'll have to see off Jeremy Gordon. And they'll think about 2, and they'll just to be settled for 1. Derville Green sent back. Nate, you brought this up at the end of the last over. Who are the bowling options? You got, after this over, an over left for Jeremy Gordon, 1 over left for Cornet Dry. You still haven't seen anything this Romanian bowl. Who else can you go to if you're the Atlanta Fire?
Well, I think after this over, you probably bring back Emilio Aponzo, who has an over left. I would bring him after this over, and that way you can close out with Gordon and Cornet in the 19th and 20th. That's probably what I would do. And then if you do that, they've only bowled 5 guys, and why change it up at what's working?
I think a lot will depend on Derville Green and how he plays this over. If he starts to get going, I think you might consider going to Athinder because of just his ability to bowl on that length and keep things difficult to swing through the line as we see one edge to third man.
This is actually a really good wicket, I think, for somebody like Athinder. And it's a little bit surprising. Really, it's more of just a statement about how good the bowling attack is here for Atlanta that we haven't seen Athinder yet. But I think just about any team in this situation would be happy to have Athinder Supermanian bowling for them.
Interesting questions. First, how does this over go? We've seen runs come off the first 2 deliveries, just 2 of them. Again, you mentioned it. If Baltimore can climb their way to 80 in this over, they just had an 11-run over, back it up with a 9-run over. You feel like they're gaining momentum and they're back ahead of the game. The pressure would be back to the Atlanta Fire's end of the court. Cut. In and out of the hands. In and out of the hands. It was firmly struck, and it'll race toward the boundary, and it'll end up being just a couple of runs, though. Good work out in the deep, but very, very nearly a catch at backward point.
That thing went off the hands and almost flew all the way to the boundary. That was humming. That's what happens when you have a fast bowler in there and you swing hard.
Yeah, Ravinder Singh, we already know about his ability to hit the big ball and hit it long and hard, and he definitely struck that one firmly. Very nearly an opportunity there. Well, that cost the Atlanta Fire that chance being put down. Again, if Ravinder Singh is still in the middle, not only is it still 3 wickets in hand, but it's 2 experienced, more than capable bats still left. This could be a wide. It will be a wide. Jeremy Gordon, what are you doing?
We've seen him stop his run-up probably about 3 times this last couple of overs. Something about this run-up that he's not liking too much right now, I feel like. We might see him bowling maybe from the other end tomorrow.
I'll have to fix it today, though. The Fire again. They're just trying to win to get some momentum going into the playoffs. Another short one.
Ball.
Asks for a wide. Gets the wide. Jeremy Gordon's not happy about it, but it's a wide, and now been giving no, saying that was the second one above the head for the over. And Ravinder Singh, he's got himself a free hit. Jeremy Gordon's gone carried away. He's not happy with the call, but it's the call nonetheless.
Ooh, this is a really tough call. This is a really brutal call here if you're Atlanta. This is not something you see a ton of. So here we go. The umpires are discussing it with each other. It seems like that call has already been made, though.
He could say, put the 2 hands on the chest and say no. It's not the first time we've seen the umpires have a discussion. Make it clear. What's the ruling? Is any change? Doesn't look like Alvin Barnett's going to change his decision. Looks like it's going to stay a free hit. It will. It will stay a free hit. Jeremy Gordon, 1 too many short balls for the umpire's liking. And now has to bowl something. And you mentioned getting to 80. 77 in the last couple of runs just off of extras. And Ravinder Singh has a free license now.
Yeah, that was a tough one. It might have been right on the edge for me. I don't know if I would have called that too short, but, Alvin had the better view.
Fuller, good off cutter. Jeremy Gordon doesn't bowl the off speeders a lot, but when he does, they're so effective. And on this surface, we've heard it before, quicker off-cutters are going to be what's going to get them over the line. I think Gordon can stick to this as a bread and butter.
Yeah, so you found your way out of that mess right now. That's great. That's a great comeback there from Atlanta. Didn't really end up hurting you too much. What it did do is give the batter another look at the bowler.
Bowled him. He's brought it back on. He's brought it back on. Looking to attack the body, Jeremy Gordon. He's taken off the bail of the leg stump.
Unbelievable. What a ball. That is a crazy good ball. And what do we have here happening right now? Okay, the batter's still walking out. Okay, there's just a subdued celebration. It looks like Atlanta's attitude right now is we need to do even more. But here, look at this. He almost goes right through him right there. Must have played that down. He looked like it went off his hand right there. The way the batter reacted, it looks like it went right off his hand and down onto the leg stump bail there. Yeah, that is tough.
Yeah, if you saw that one there, it was just through the shot well early. I think it came off of maybe a bit of the body and then found its way up towards the glove, off the glove, down to the stumps. But all it has to do is get to the stumps, right, Nate? It doesn't matter how. The journey's not important in this situation. It's about where it ends up. It ends up on the stumps, ends up taking them off, lighting it up. And Jeremy Gordon, after that no ball, after the free hit, getting through that, he's gone back to his tactics. It's worked for him. And the Fire, they're 2 wickets away here from making the Royals' path to the playoffs very, very difficult.
Yeah, if you're a pinball fan, you got to get into cricket. That ball went off of the batter, it looked like at least once, maybe 2 times. And then when it hits the stumps, what happens? You get a nice little light show. There's your pinball right there. You got the zings, bails flying. Yeah, there you go. This is a sport for everybody. You can find an excuse. I can find an excuse for anyone to watch this game.
That's why we love Nate Hayes. That's why Nate Hayes is the biggest proponent of cricket and why he's the greatest spreader of our sport we have in the United States, at least in Warsaw, North Carolina, if you don't want to take
you don't have to go
States
too much further than that. I mean, we all know John Boy Media is doing a great job getting the game out there in front of people, and it's hard to outdo them.
Well, here we go. Speaking of hard to outdo, Aryan Batra hard to outstate what he did with the ball in hand. Now going to be asked yet again to do something with the bat. Still 34 runs to get, and he's facing the Canadian national. Inside half of the bat, we'll find a run. Very, very nearly the end of Batra to close out the 17th over, 78 for 8. Well, we're going to have to wait and see who the new bowler is going to be. Nate, it's Cornet Dry back in, going for the kill. And again, we've talked about the aggressive approach from Aaron Jones continuing. Seeing the under-19 on strike, saying, hey, Cornet, you're our premier bowler. Go take this wicket. Batra does well to get bat on ball, but Nate, it's an interesting call. Finish out Cornet Dry now here in the 18th over. There's still 2 overs to go. One's going to be bowled by Jeremy Gordon. One could be bowled by anybody.
Yes, let's see what they do. Like you said, it is an interesting call because we could see Amila back here in the 20th over, which wouldn't be outrageous. It wouldn't be outrageous, especially to the tail.
Flicked nicely by Batra. Not known for his exploits with the bat, but he'll find 4 runs off Cornet Dry, looking to go full. And Aryan Batra putting out a shot here at Church Street Park.
And do you think, does it matter to you, that was a great shot, by the way, by Batra there, but does it matter to you what happens between now and the 20th over for you to decide who you bowl in the 20th over? Does that matter to you? Is there a situation where you're going to bowl a Tindra or you're going to bowl, Amila?
I think for me it'd be how Derville Green is striking the ball at that point in time. I think taking the spinner on the 20th over here at Church Street Park, anything can happen. Ask Canada when they tried a spinner. Very different spinner, but again, I think bowling the spinner on the 20th never really ends well. Talk about even internationally, or you talk about what happened with Ruvindu, who was a Canadian.
Yeah.
He was bowling spin here, 20th over, gets hit. Think about the T20 World Cup, India-Pakistan, bowling a spinner. Yeah. Things just don't seem to go in the right direction.
Junaid Siddiqui.
There you go.
Well, we got Junaid Siddiqui, the example, who is one of the most economical leg spinners you'll ever see. Got hammered for 22 by Stephen Taylor. And also last year, Glenn, against this same team. They bowled Amila in the 20th, and Glenn hammered Fort Lauderdale to victory. Remember that?
Exactly. So it's just dangerous stuff when you get the spinner in the 20th over. They want the single. Derville Green is quick. It looked like it came off the body of Butler, but he ate it well. He's done well to get himself a boundary, a couple of runs as well. 2 balls left for Derville Green, the over. So 1, he's going to look to swing. The other, he should look to get a single. Just needing now 28 runs from 14 balls.
Now, I got to say, in the previous examples we've seen at Church Street Park where spinners have bowled in the 20th, the wicket was a more batter-friendly wicket.
Sure.
So that has to factor into it. But I don't think they'll be shy to go with a Tindra.
Down the ground, gets it through the offside, cries of no, and it's from Derville Green because he's just picked out cover. He'll find 1, and then the message for Ian Butler would be, look, you're getting anything even, a dot ball, a 2, a 4, or 6 even, but you're not looking to take a single here.
You think they're doing this a little too soon?
No, I don't think so. I think you have 13 balls left. I want Derville Green playing all 13 with 27 runs to go, Nate.
Yeah, good point. I mean, yeah, you need more than 2 every ball.
Again, Butler has shown you the ability to hit the odd boundary, and I think he can do that for you. But for me, I want, if Derville Green plays the majority of these last 13, I'm happy, even win or lose. Down the ground, fetch 1. Fetch 1. What are you doing, Derville? What are you doing? He wants the run more than he wants to strike at this point. 2 overs left in the game, just 26 runs to get. Cornet Dry finishes out 4 overs, 20 runs and a wicket, 85 for 8 after 18. Jeremy Gordon will finish. Nate, we're going to have to wait and see who bowls that 20th over. If we get there, 2 wickets left to get, 26 runs left to get. Aryan Butler on strike. In the air. Who wants it? Will Zain Zayed find it? Taken a fine leg. You can see the look there. He's saying, what are you doing, Zain? I got it. I've covered it. And 1 wicket to go here for the Atlanta Fire. What a start for Jeremy Gordon.
There you go. What a grab. That's a great grab there. Rayon Patan.
Just take a look. Again, he's there, fine leg. He's moved away from it.
How did he catch that moving
In
backwards?
the middle of the catch, too, he's moved away and looked at Zain Zayed and said, Zain, bro, I got it. Relax, buddy. But
how did he catch that while moving back? He dipped his hands low at the very end to give himself a little more time to catch it after he backed up, which helped him correct himself. But my goodness, it's a hard thing to do, to be backpedaling and reaching forward and catch the ball. That's not easy to do.
Well, even with all the lightheartedness of that wicket, it's very, very important. We mentioned taking that single there at the end of that over from Derville Green. Aryan Butler on strike. Hits it down the ground, straight to the fielder. They take the 1.
Yeah, you're right.
And now, 1 wicket left. Sergi Blunda, he's on strike. He can play the odd shot, and he's going to look to play a scoop to fine leg. I can guarantee you one of these couple deliveries he's going to look for it. But if you're Derville Green, you have to be on strike for these last 2 overs.
You have to be. We're seeing the game slipping out of Baltimore's fingertips, and as you mentioned, and I completely agree with you, you want Green on strike to start that over, to start those 12 balls, and then, let him decide from there, I guess. But you want him facing as many as you can get.
Now all the pressure is back on Baltimore. Felt like the game could get interesting. If you were able to manage 10 runs in this over, you get it to 16. 16 from the last, and Derville Green facing, it's pressure on the new bowler. But Jeremy Gordon's done well. In the air, doesn't carry, and no run on offer. This is the problem. This is where you run into that issue. You know Jeremy Gordon's bowling this over. Derville Green has to play this over.
Yes, 100%.
We're going to harp on it here because the Royals needed this for the playoffs. If they want any part of it, they're going to need to win against the Atlanta Fire 1 of 2 times, and then hope Fort Lauderdale loses. No run on offer. Things are going to get very, very difficult if Sarbjeet Ludda can't find bat on ball. He's having the MI New York helmet on his head. But what he needs right now is to find a Nicholas Puran type of shot in him. Can he find a single? Can he find any bit of runs? I think the conversation between these two right now is Derville Green saying, hey, look, no matter what happens, we're running this next ball.
I think
Get
so.
yourself inside the crease.
I think you have to. I think you kind of have to. The way that last ball was just played, I think you just got to run.
Wide, will fetch himself one. Derville Green was off. He was ready to go. Sarbjeet Ludda said, no, we got the run. Jeremy Gordon has got a smile on his face. Doesn't need to really go for the Yorker. I think the biggest thing here is make Ludda push it into a fielder.
I think that would have been a great ball to run on. You got the keeper having to go laterally behind, which is hard to do. You're screening the keeper already, and then now he's got to collect himself.
This one, this could be the single. I'm not sure if it caught any bit of bat on the way through, but it'll be a run nonetheless. Yeah, looks like he's going to be given his byes, but runs nonetheless for Derville Green, for the Baltimore Royals. Derville Green now, it's got a real big spot of bother. 24 from the final 8. He's got 1 ball in this over where he can score what he wants to score. The other one has to be a single. Has to be on strike for the majority of these last 8 deliveries. You would say be on strike for at least 7 of them.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big ask, but anything can happen. You get to the end. This is a funny thing about cricket. You get to the end. This could be a 200-run chase. It could be a 90-run chase. But you get to the end and you get within a reasonable amount. Anything can happen.
Down the ground, very straight, but finds the umpire. No, finds a stump. Finds the stump. It's a 12th fielder. It's the 12th man. And right now, the Baltimore Orioles can't do anything to help them out. Thought there was a little Marshall magic with that one. It looked very, very straight, but too straight for Derville Green.
Yeah, that is such a bummer because it's hard to hit the ball any better than that. That's in cricket. You're supposed to hit it right back where it came from, and you can't hit it more right back than where it came from than hitting the stumps. But nothing. You get nothing.
Get a single, Derville. That one's beat him. All hands up. Big appeal. Won't be that, but they'll get a single off of a bye. So Derville Green, he's going to be on strike for the final 6 deliveries, you'd hope, if you're a Baltimore Orioles fan. They'll need 23 runs from the final over. The game's not over, ladies and gentlemen. Morsel magic. Anything can happen. Don't go anywhere. 88 for 9 after 19.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Here in the 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, at this stage, every game affects the playoffs, and this one could really hurt the Baltimore Orioles if they lose it. They need 23 from the last. Atinda Surmania is coming in the bowl, the final over. But Nate, you mentioned it. He's coming in cold. Has not bowled an over yet today.
Hasn't bowled today. Now, we've seen him bowl a lot from this particular end in the past, and he seems to bowl really well from this end. So that might work in his favor.
Bowled him. There you go. Works in his favor straight away on a length. The off cutter works, and Derval Green swings all around it. Atinda Surmania gets one ball in this match and gets one wicket. What a game. What a fire team this is. What a bowler this young man is.
That's amazing. Look at that production for just one ball. Here we go. Look at this. My gosh. Great job, Atinda. We've seen him come through so many times, and we've seen him bowl people too. He gets a lot of clean bowled wickets. And boy, he struck hard there. That was great. I mean, you know that you got to go big. So, hey, you miss, I hit. That's basically the mentality, and that's courageous after standing around for 19 overs.
And that will do it. The Baltimore Royals, they will need a win if they want any chance at the playoffs tomorrow against the Atlanta Fire. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you come back right here because the Atlanta Fire put on a bowling display with 3 wickets from Jeremy Gordon, 2 from Nasir Hussain, 2 from Obis Pinar, 1 from Cornet Dry, and of course the 1 from Atinda Subramanian. Make sure you come back here. First game at 1 o'clock we'll have at this Brew Cricket Festival right here in Morrisville. We thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful Friday evening. For myself, Aman Patel, for Nate Hayes, for our entire production team, directed and produced by Babar Beg. We wish you a good night, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Satisfied. Gordon, first ball. Given width to get a run straight away off the mark. A tight edge, but no slip in place. It'll run through to third man, and it'll bring up 4 runs as well.
A pretty good tactic, I think.
Make some room. It's in the air. Cries of catch it. Viraj Vagela hangs on. Power play right after it. A lot of trust being given as this pulled into leg side. It'll find 4 runs, a much needed one. Side. Bhargat Singh goes down the ground. That's very straight. There'll be 4 runs after struggling early. Fuller on this occasion. He's been so good in minor league cricket, but this is such an excellent shot. There you go. That's what you're talking about. Width on offer, pushes across, and he's edged it all the way.
You want him in the middle for a while longer.
Reverse sweep, big shout. This one looks good. Given straight away. Start against Obis. Bowled him straight away. No movement. Big turn on offer and chopped it on. Jumping up at the batters. This one on pads. It looks very, very close. Looks good. Given. It looks.
These 2 games for certain.
Pulled into the leg side. Fielder in place. Nearly, very, very nearly a one-handed stunner.
Gordon's only bowled 1 over.
In the air. Has he got enough of it? No, he hasn't. Obis Pinar has affected the game. 6 wickets to accompany that. Short, pulled into the leg side. Fielder won't get around to it. Yes, he will. Find out and let Nate Hayes know as this one's going to find the under edge and going to race towards the boundary. Luck for the Baltimore Royals, but it's 4 runs nonetheless. They'll take them any way they can get them, Nate.
Batter, another look at the bowler.
Bowled him. He's brought it back on. Flicked nicely by Batra. Not known for his exploits with the bat, but he'll find 4 runs off Cornet Dry, looking to go full. And Aryan Batra putting it in the air. Who wants it? Will Zain Zayed find it? Taken a fine leg.
In his favor.
Bowled him. There you go. Works in his favor straight away on a length.
Brought to you by our 2023 partners.